Hello and welcome back to the Out of Mana podcast. This is episode 40, milestone episode here. You were joined with me, the real Shiesty, and my good friend here, Joshua Cast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, of course, Twitch. This is our platform that we use to stream live. Do we have a Facebook? I don't know if we have a Facebook, but we're on Twitter. Word of mouth. We said that before. And any other entity that we maybe will be on it. Do we dabble into TikTok? I don't know if we did TikTok at all.
We have TikTok.
YouTube Shorts, but
I need to create more clips for TikTok.
But since it's getting banned in certain states, I guess we might not even just explain that one. But no, yes, episode 40. So little splice as to what we're going to talk about today. We got Xbox Showcase. We have Ubisoft news, and as well as all the Twitch news that was going on the last couple of weeks. Of course, along anything else that we feel like we want to fucking talk about, because it's our podcast. Josh, how are you, my good friend?
Doing very well. Besides all the gaming news this week and a half, there's also some cool personal things. Obviously, the games I've been playing, but I was able to go ahead and pick up this 3DS for only $80. I had to take the sticker off. I just bought it recently for $80, which is shocking because I think this is like that 25th anniversary 3DS, whatever, for Zelda. And I was shocked because these go for, right now, even in this used condition, I think for $175 to $200. And it comes with the charge and everything. It fully works, and it comes with an SD card. So I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to flip it because obviously I want other games, but I thought it was really cool that I found this for only $80.
And that's not the box and everything?
That's not the box. If it was the box, it would have been a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I still have that. Well, first off, yeah, that's a pretty dope find. I still have it. I was thinking about flipping it. I do have original box. I think damn near original everything. I have the Pikachu 3DS XL. I think
that's a solid one.
Yeah, and I kind of I know. Last time I looked, I want to say it was like upwards of 400. And I'm like, ooh, but at the same time, I like it. I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? It's like I'm not using it. But maybe it'll continue to appreciate, and we'll see. But yeah, it's pretty cool to still have one, I guess. So,
is it the old 3DS like this one, or is it the 3DS with the swappable faceplates, or is it the new 3DS?
I don't know it to have a swappable faceplate. I think it's like I said, I don't think it's anywhere near me, but it's an XL version that has like the 3D slider part, I think, on the side. Maybe most of them have that, I don't know. But
so it's probably like this one because it has a 3D slider too right there?
I think so, yeah. So it's like that, and it's well, for the most part, it's mostly yellow, but then it's like a darker tint of yellow to kind of outline Pikachu. It's a really sweet model, in my opinion. Not because I own it, but
yeah, it definitely does look cool.
Yeah, and I think my buddy has that exact model, though. I think he has that one. So
your 3DS or my 3DS?
Oh, yours. It also reminds me of the Wii U version that they had for Zelda, the same kind of markings.
So. I think this was like a co-collaboration with the Wii U and because I think this is the 25th anniversary one that they have. There was another one for I think Majora's Mask remake for 3DS, but I could be wrong on that one.
I don't remember if the Wii U one was an anniversary edition. I thought it was just what they used to launch with. Was it Skyward Sword at the time? I'm trying to remember. Shit. But yeah, that's I actually got rid of that one too once upon a time. So I got some nice coin for that one at the time even, but it is what it is. So
that's pretty cool. The one that's actually really sought after, that's kind of raised in price recently, is the Yoshi 3DS. That one is because it's also swappable faceplate as well.
Interesting. I want to say, I don't even know if I really know what that looks like.
Honestly, it's just Yoshi with with like a green cover over it, and then the rest of the 3DS is white, I think. It's pretty cool looking.
I know there's, crazy people out there. Not like bad crazy, but I guess good gamer crazy people that actually collect those 3DSs, which is Why the collection? If I mean that's an expensive hobby. I mean a lot of hobbies are expensive, but when you're collecting hardware, I mean that's crazy.
Oh, dude, a lot of the new 3DS stuff still sells like it's a new console, like the Galaxy version that still sells very well. A lot of the Pokemon variants, those sell really well. Like, what was it, the Ultra Sun and Moon? People are still flipping that for $400.
Yeah, no, most of those special editions, as long as you have original boxes, like obviously they could be used, but in good condition, yeah, hands down, you're gonna get at least a value of over $400,
Yeah.
like without a shadow of a doubt. But no, that's really cool. Where did you score that?
So I was just
If
today trying to get some groceries, and I was like, you know what? I haven't been to this pawn shop in a while. Let me go into the pawn shop. This pawn
nice.
shop had so many collectible consoles in there. Some of them were like in $1,000, but then I seen this Zelda 3DS for $80. I'm like, wait a minute, that seems off. Let me go ahead and pick that up because they had Halo Xbox, they had the Pikachu N64 there, and a couple of this stuff. So I was like, you know, let me just pick this one up.
How much were they asking for the Pikachu 64?
I think it was either 575 or 675.
Wow.
But this was complete in box, like the whole
Oh,
box was there.
really?
Yeah.
And the box.
So I
That
think I think that's on the cheaper side.
I was about to say, I think that's still kind of a deal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a while since I've looked at that kind of stuff, but still, it's kind of funny when sometimes I don't know if that would be a good example, but sometimes when it comes to these systems, right? They kind of go away for a while, and then you do get that one person that gets scores whatever. We'll just throw out $1,000, and then the rest of them start coming out the woodwork, thinking they could get that same amount, and then the value kind of goes down a little bit, and then it waits a while, and then kind of rinses and repeats. It kind of goes in cycles.
Mm.
So, but no, I didn't pick up any 3DSs or anything like that this week. My only score was something I had made mention about 3 episodes ago, and I actually got my copy. I actually got it pretty quickly. I wasn't expecting to get it so soon, but I got my physical copy of Stray. So came with it came with a couple little goodies, but got this cool little patch here that goes meow meow meow. And so at some point I'll give this a playthrough. Just don't know when.
Is the cover already open? Like, can you
Yes.
like slip the cover off? Can I see it real quick, please?
Yeah. It's just like a regular PS5.
So, did that come from like a limited run or something like that?
Yes, I am 8-bit.
Okay, I wonder if they are selling to retail shops because I actually seen like 12 of those copies at GameStop. Not
At
not
GameStop?
not with the slipcover, but just that normal box.
Oh, well, this is I guess limited to them, so I think the slipcover might be better. Plus, like I said, the other goodies you're obviously
Yep,
not getting this.
there you go,
this
right there. 34 for both PS4 and PS5.
yeah, plus you're not getting the cool goodies like this. I don't know what it is. Some sort of patch maybe. And
Why
there's
did
like a
it?
couple of things. I got a poster and like I don't know if they're like postcards or what, but
Why did I feel like they said that Stray was only going to be digital only, but then yet somehow physical came out? Like I know you said 8-bit was going to do it, which I thought that was
yeah,
cool, but then somehow multiple popped up in multiple different stores.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe because of the popularity. I mean, remember it was nominated for Game of the Year, so maybe they changed their minds.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know.
actually looking this up right now because apparently the GameStop version and like the Best Buy version are like they're still selling at the market sale price. But yours, on the other hand, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for yours?
I forgot.
Because I see them going up for on eBay for about $100.
No, I did not pay that much. I was gonna guess maybe 60, 65.
Okay, well, that's still pretty good. But yeah, I mean, any with the slipcover collectibles, I'm sure get that. It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a like I kind of actually regret like slipping it because I could have left it flat because it came flat. But I was like, defeats the purpose.
Hmm.
Slip it in there. So yeah, that's only been the only thing I got last week. I did get a ETB of Pokemon cards, which didn't really score anything of value, but I only bought it simply because of my promo card that I wanted, and for the benefit of those that cannot see the podcast. It's a promo card of Pikachu with the three new Paldea Pokemon.
Fuecoco,
Fuecoco,
Sprigato, and
Pumpkin, yes,
Quaxley.
Sprigato. Yeah, Quaxley. See, you knew them all and I didn't. But yeah, when I saw this promo, I was like, that fucking promo so bad. And so that's why I bought it. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in order to get that promo, do you have to actually buy the box, or can you like get like a cheaper version? Because I know the boxes are like $90 or above, right?
No, no, the boxes are 40.
Oh,
I
40.
think. I think 40. Trying to remember, but they're not $90. that much I can tell you.
So wait, what are the expensive boxes? Oh, those are booster boxes then.
So I generally buy mines directly from Pokemon Center. You know, it's funny because I was at Target earlier on my way home, and they had a plethora of these ETBs. And I probably should have looked at it because I don't know if this was exclusive to the Pokemon Center ETB or if you could still get them in retail. And I thought that was the question you were about to ask. So that I don't know because, or I don't know if it's ironically or coincidentally, but it came with two. And at first I was like, okay, why did it come with two? But then I had realized that one of them, and I don't know if it's going to be hard to see or not, but it actually has a stamp that says Pokemon Center. It's like right
Yeah,
there
I
on the
see it.
bottom. Versus the other one doesn't have it.
Okay,
So
so
to
that
kind of,
might be the exclusive version compared to the other one.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At first, I thought it was a mistake when I opened my box. I'm like, what? They could be two? Like, oh, okay. But that wasn't the case. So, other than that, yeah, it's been a very not a slow week like how we're combating each other last week. It was a normal week. However, the Diablo bug still had me bitten, and played a lot of that. And I feel somewhat liberated as of yesterday because I died again.
Ooh.
So I died at level 59. I wasn't proud of my death. It was not due to lag. It was due to, dare I say, stupidity. But I died to a world boss, and I'm done. I'm officially Diablo retired. Going back to WoW, starting tomorrow.
Come on,
Until
you know you
next.
want to start another character.
No, no, I'm 100% done. I've had my fair share. I actually beat the game on hardcore, so to me that was kind of like the first milestone, right? I was like, okay, I did that, awesome. Then I kept going, and I was like, okay, well, the chase I think was still real for the top 1,000. I just can't commit as a lot of all these people do have been grinding, but I think the chase was still real there for me. But I died, much like other people have died at level 91, 99, 98, whatever, except I died at 59. So I still enjoyed it thoroughly. It's fun. It's obviously it get a little addicting, but yeah, I'm dead. I'm done. That's it. I've had my fair share. It's I'm now Diablo 4 retired and back to WoW until 16 next week. So and
Well,
then from there we'll see.
Well, I just recently picked up Diablo this weekend, and I've been playing it. So I've been enjoying it. I'm unlike you. I went casual first because I want to experience
Okay,
the story
I was
for the
about to
Let's Play
ask.
purpose.
Mhm.
But after I'm done, and because I also plan on going for the platinum, I will get my character casual to 100, and then once I feel like I built a good enough character and understand the game enough, I'm gonna do hardcore and then get him to. Well, I need him to get to 50 for the trophy, but I'm also gonna push 100 just for the sake of getting 100,
Mhm.
and then doing the ultimate challenge of fighting Uberloth on hardcore mode.
Yeah, yeah, that would be. I guess at this stage that would be almost pinnacle or the pinnacle. One thing I do wonder, and now we could talk about this a little bit because you've actually played the game. So you said you started with, as people are dubbing it, softcore mode. I like to call it flaccid mode, but to each their own. You know how they have like I don't know if you want to call it reward system, but the renown system where you get points for doing X, Y, Z.
Hmm.
So if you're doing it on softcore mode, it tells you when you reach certain points that you like when you uncover the Lilith statues, for example. It says you get those attributes for all your characters on that realm. Does that also include when you create a character on hardcore mode, or does that get erased and you have to do it separately again?
That I don't know because I haven't created a
Yeah,
hardcore character.
yeah, but it makes me wonder, like, because with that said, you would kind of be doing yourself a service by, you'd be making it a little bit easier, depending on how much you do on softcore mode, than when you finally do hardcore mode, if that carries over.
Did they say it's for characters? Because I thought it said only for that character you have currently, and
No,
it's
I
only for
believe it.
that region.
No, I believe it's all your characters.
I'll have to read it
So it's
again.
almost like account wide.
Interesting. So yeah,
Yeah,
it would make sense to just plow through that quickly with 4 players and get all those done, then immediately go to hardcore afterwards, if that's the case. But it doesn't
yeah,
seem like anybody else is really benefiting from that.
interesting.
Because I
Well,
know
on hardcore,
people.
you would never know because once you die, and if you do roll another character, like there's no another character to inherit your stuff. You just you got to start from scratch.
Mm.
But the other way around, like it makes me wonder. So I'm sure it's a Google answer away, but yeah, I guess one thing I wish we could talk about, we could table it for another podcast, but the story aspect of it, I guess, very. I mean, it's no secret Blizzard does the most best CGI sequences in the world, and oh my god, just the one. If you haven't seen it already, near the end, it's just chef's kiss.
So unfortunately, Diablo spoiled way too much in their cinematics, even with
That's
the
true.
launch trailer. Like with
True.
one of the cinematics is you're in hell or one of the chasms, and you're with Prava and Inaris, and you're leading your armies towards to fight Lilith. I
Mhm.
haven't gotten to that part in the game, but apparently that's a cutscene you get almost halfway or close to the end of the game, which they showed as a launch trailer.
Mhm.
But I did see it. I'm not sure if this is the one you're talking about. When after the events of Lilith, you see Diablo again.
Now that I haven't seen myself.
Oh, you
So
haven't seen that?
no, and I beat the game, so I'm wondering where that's from.
So it's little. So it's right after you beat Lilith. Lilith is like, you made a mistake. I gave you free will and you squandered it. And then as soon as she is dying, you just see little quick flashes of Diablo.
Oh, those little flash. I mean, I took that more as that was what's his face? Her father. Can't
Uh,
think of his name right now.
well, didn't we kill Hatred in Diablo 3?
I don't remember. You know what's funny? As I was playing through 4, I kind of was like, kind of want to go back and play 3 now, just for story. Once again, nothing
Yeah.
serious. Just quick re-roll, burn through it. I'm sure once again I could go on YouTube and just watch the entire sequence on YouTube as well. Um, I no, we killed Diablo in
No,
3.
you killed
I
his host.
vividly.
You killed his
Oh, okay,
host. You didn't kill his
okay.
soul shard or whatever the heck it's called. Because
Hmm.
Diablo, out of all the primordial evils, Diablo is the youngest but strongest. But the other two, I think we did actually kill because we killed their soul stone or whatever. Because I know, if I remember correctly, in Diablo 3, Hatred was the boss, and he was able to pull off a feat Diablo couldn't by actually corrupting the world stone of
Mephisto.
Sanctuary.
That's his name, Mephisto.
Mephisto's Hatred? I thought Mephisto was the other
Hmm.
guy.
Mm.
Well, whoever Hatred is, Mephisto,
Because
if it
that's because
is,
that's because that's Lilith's father.
because yeah, he was able to pull off one of the greatest feats that no one has ever done yet, which is corrupt the world stone.
Interesting. Yeah, so I would like to go back and I guess rediscover that. That way I could kind of like put it in line. I don't know anything about 1 and 2 since I didn't experience those, but yeah, it was still a fun game. I enjoyed it. It's just I know it's kind of sound weird coming from someone that plays WoW, but I'm not looking to bury myself in that repetition. So I tried, I did, but it didn't happen. So it is what it is. But it's cool.
I feel you. Yeah, once I get like the platinum, like obviously I just gotta go through the characters, the levels, whatever. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
done too, just like I did with Diablo 3.
Hmm.
But as you were saying, you do want to go back for the story, and I do want to go back because I platinumed it on PS3, but it was on the
Mm.
other, it was on a different account, and I kind of want to go back and platinum it again.
Mm, damn.
But we'll see. But I will say, I'm not sure if you feel this way. but does
Mhm.
Diablo 4 feel easier than the previous Diablos? And that's not a complaint. That's a good thing for me. I love it.
That's a good question. I don't. I'm gonna say yeah, blah blah. I'm gonna answer no, and the reason why is because I think also I also say this in the nicest way possible. It kind of is a clone of three, except it's larger, it's more freedom, the storytelling is better. Like almost everything is better than three. It's so far, in my opinion, at least what I experienced. But it really is kind of like a clone. Now, with that said, the reason why I'm going to say it's maybe the base game, like what you're experiencing right now, is easy. Plus, you're not playing a hardcore. No offense. And
The only difference
but
is you die and that's it, and you're
I
done.
know, I know. But when you get to like I guess end game, when you start doing like nightmare dungeons times whatever, I think it goes up to 100. That's probably where it's gonna get more difficult, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna answer no. It's basically about the same.
I will say completion wise though, it's 100% easier. Like the trophy
Oh,
in this, like I said, this is not a complaint. This is
mhm,
a happy thing. But the
mhm,
trophy list for Diablo 4 is a lot easier than Diablo 2 Resurrections and Diablo 3. It's not as grindy and as long.
mm,
Because I think
interesting.
those games take like 1,000 or 2,000 hours to beat. This one seems like you could easily do in like less than 200.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. So, if I may ask, is one of the trophies to get max level on all the characters?
So the
That would suck.
that was one of them for the other games, but for this
Okay.
one, you only have to hit level 50 for a casual character, level 100, and then reach level 50 for a hardcore character. That's it.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, that sounds pretty easy.
And supposedly the toughest trophy is defeat Uber Lilith, but from what I've researched, you can actually defeat Uber Lilith in casual mode,
Mm,
and that's
yeah,
the
that would
big
make it easy.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would make it different. Yeah, a lot easier for sure.
Like I said, I'm not complaining. I love it. It's
Yeah,
just the trophy list is thankfully much easier than Diablo 2 because Diablo 2 was a nightmare.
gotcha. Yeah, but I had fun with it. I enjoyed the story. Dare I say, I enjoyed it more than part three because I felt like I said, overall the storytelling was more better. And yeah, I wish success on all those that continue to play it.
So, did you play the DLC for Diablo 3?
I did not. I did not.
I want to say the DLC Reaper's Souls
Hmm.
was a better story than Diablo 3 itself, and I think it rivals Diablo 4 in my opinion. Just
Okay.
because I love seeing what was his name, Tyrael,
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
pretty
Hmm.
much like Death himself, and it was just cool to see him like come in, swoop in, basically become almost darkness itself, even though he's an angel. I don't know. I just like seeing an angel kind of turn, thinking that they're for justice, and then realize that he might be the bad guy.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's what makes well. Once again, without going into the story, those elements still exist. I guess is kind of what I'll say.
Yeah. I do
So
love
it's
how
really
this
cool.
one though is a story about love. Like the main premise of the story is love between Anaris and Lilith, and then at the end that's when it kind of deviates to free will and misjudgment. But the core of it is still love and betrayal.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I will. I did say I was retired, which is true. However, there are going to be expansions. I think this is really known knowledge now. Depending on those, I may come back just to experience that Forge of Story once again, but
he's
not
saying
hardcore.
he's saying this now, but he's gonna do a hardcore character with me. We're gonna
Nope,
get to 100.
nope, done, 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 done.
No, he's doing 100. But Uh, yeah, it's been a fun game. I'm glad I picked it up. If even if you don't play, I'm gonna find somebody to do hardcore with because I know there's people doing PlayStation groups all the time. So when I do my hardcore character, I'm looking forward to it. And if I can find three, just like I did for Diablo 3, it's gonna be a fun time going through. Kind of like obviously everybody will know what they're doing, but it'd be kind of fun strategically going through your builds and moving forward, and then maybe beating Uber Lilith on hardcore. It'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, good luck on that venture.
I think it should be pretty quick. Especially, well, hopefully, if they don't patch it, the dungeon farm seems to be the quickest way to get
I
to
think
100.
they already nerfed that already. That's what a lot of people were crying about this last like 48 hours.
Well, okay, so they
Yeah.
didn't nerf it yet because people are still doing it now. I
Well,
was literally
they're
watching.
constantly no, they constantly are looking for the next one, but then Blizzard ends up patching within 24 hours.
No, the dungeon one is still a thing.
No, I'm telling you, it's not.
I'm
Whatever
I'm
you're
I'm
watching
telling you it is
is
because they
probably
are doing it today,
whatever
and
you're watching is probably the best one currently, but it's nothing in comparison than like 96 hours ago. Is what I'm telling you.
it's still the best one.
They're always gonna find a new farm. Yes, but what I'm saying is from where it was, it's not the same.
Okay, that's not the point. The point is it's still the dungeon farm. That's what people are doing because it's
People are
currently
always gonna
at.
find something to farm,
You're not understanding
whether
what I'm
it's a
saying.
dungeon.
I'm saying right now is a dungeon farm. I don't care
It's
what they
really
were.
almost always been a dungeon farm, but all right, we'll leave it as that.
It's like you're getting mad at I'm saying it's a dungeon farm because it's a dungeon farm
Well,
currently.
it's yeah, but like, how can I put it? Whatever, we'll just drop it.
All right, but that's what people are doing, and I think one of the things that they're working on. I know a lot of people are. I think one of the complaints you're saying is that when people are doing dungeons, you literally have to go in with multiple people in order to get the XP boost, which people
At
are
least
saying.
one person. Yeah.
Is it one person? I thought it stacks in the members. They just changed that.
If they did, then that's probably a good change. I'm not aware about a times multiple. I'm not aware of a times per player. Where I do know it does become multiple is if you what is it called? You get next to a campfire, and that could stack up to times 15%, or I think it's 15%. But those usually are just, from what I experienced, those only pop up when they have the Legion invasions. Those aren't in dungeons.
Okay, so it makes me wonder why people are purposely stacking four now because whenever they do three, they just regroup to get a fourth because it seems like they're almost getting a multiplier per person.
I
But
used to,
whatever the case
yeah,
is.
things are always changing because it seems like they do a patch every other day. Um, I know for a while, like people would just want to, like I said, part one person, and then it was two. They didn't want to do four because enemies scaled, and then they felt they couldn't farm fast enough with a full group. So that might have something to do with too. That maybe there was a nerf on just health, so now they could do it. Like who the hell knows? I don't keep up with it like that, but they always figure it out mathematically. What's the best, farm? So.
But going back to the complaints I was saying is that for some
Mm-hmm.
reason a lot of players, or at least hardcore players currently,
Mm-hmm.
are saying that you're almost getting penalized for playing solo. Like XP, it's nerfed throughout the whole
Yes.
board, and people are saying that it should kind of be the same with or without a group.
Yeah. I would. I mean, I was playing solo for the most of the time. However, when I died, I was in a group of three, and someone not in the group, but I saw someone else died before me. I was like, "Oh shit!" And then it was like me. I was like, "Oh shit!" But no, that's true. There's no incentive playing by yourself. Not saying that there has to be, but I guess to have it equal, maybe there should be no incentive being in group. But then if you don't have an incentive, then how do you promote group play? So it's I don't know. Like I don't know how you incentivize. I can't talk. Incentivize it. There you go.
I think some of the higher ups, like God, I wish I could remember her name. She's the girl that 100% at World of Warcraft. She has all the achievements.
Yeah, any fuchsia.
Yes, her and a few others that are also pretty well known for World of Warcraft and Diablo. They were saying what they need to do is probably when you do dungeons, or at least on World Tier 4 above, it should be
Mm-hmm.
automatic LFG when you enter a dungeon so you can group up with four players to
Mm.
incentivize that group play. Um, so you can get the experience and connect to others while also getting the XP boost without having to feel like you're left out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. The only thing, but the only thing about that would suck is if the enemies do scale and you're not really of gear. I mean, but then why would you be going anyways? Because then you might just be like carrying people. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not
Supposedly,
playing
from what
anymore.
I've seen, is that the enemies level scale to only you. Because when I was watching them do their dungeon farm earlier, there was two 98 pluses, one level 80, and then 165.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all in the same group and all that stuff, but they were all doing the same amount of damage, same amount of health, and all that stuff.
That's only true if you're playing the dungeon, and I could be wrong on this, I really could be, but I think that's only true if you're doing the dungeon basic. When you start doing nightmare dungeons, you have to pretty much almost use a key similar to like the keystones in World of Warcraft to make it like Mythic Plus, but you do it like Nightmare Plus. So whatever keystone you put in or you use, it multiplies it. So all it does is add an additional level from your base level. So if you're level 50, hypothetically, right, you do a key that's +4, all the enemies are supposed to be level 54.
Mm. I
So
have no idea, but I'm just gonna say.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm explaining that right, and I could be close or far off. But what I do know is it does make it harder. So with that said, like if you go in a group, right, and let's say you want to do like a +30 keystone or something, well, either now if you're forced to wait for a queue, you're forced to wait for 3 other people that also want to do level 30, or are you just going to pair someone up that maybe doesn't want to and they can't do shit damage wise? Like I don't know, unless they have a dynamic system that could still uh you know have that level off for every player in the group. I don't know, but like dynamic leveling, I don't know.
So since we
And
both
damage,
don't know, we're just gonna
yeah.
say that they have something figured out for that. But it was cool to see all these people level up. Um, what was it? So what do you think if there is to be a DLC? What do you think the DLC would be? I feel like it's gonna be like a cultist
Well,
group. Maybe this no, did the sun die?
I will say this: when you finish the game, the answer will be clear. Like it's not a what do you think? Like you'll know what the DLC is going to be.
Okay.
So that's why I won't comment on it.
Well,
And I'm looking
you can
and I'm
spoil it.
looking forward to it.
I have my theory now. If you confirm it, then
No. Just experience it.
I love how I'm like you can say and you're like nah.
No, this one I don't want to.
All right, that's fine. I'll look it up later.
Fair enough. No, but it's pretty damn clear where what's gonna happen, or at least not should I say what's gonna happen, but how the story's gonna continue and who they're gonna follow and why.
Okay, so I could be wrong. Like I said, I just started playing the game, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously you're not going to tell me. But this is
Nope.
my theory and what I want. I'm probably 100% wrong, but I
Mm-hmm.
would love to see. I think his name is Elias, or the first necromancer, whoever basically resurrected Lilith.
Ratham.
Is that Ratham? Because in the cut
That's her son, the first necromancer.
so who's the person in the first cutscene? Because in the dialogue, his name is
First
Elias.
cutscene.
Yeah,
Yes, he used to be a um with Lorath. What's it called? He used to be a good guy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I feel like it's either gonna be him, like he's gonna try to resurrect Diablo after we've seen, or it's gonna be that wolf-looking dog that we see in the beginning of the game, and I think he might either be one of the primordial evils or sub-evils trying to
Mm-hmm.
help resurrect Diablo again. Because I feel like all in all, somebody's gonna try working to get Diablo back to his full power, or because now that most of the primordial evils are slain,
Mm-hmm.
merge them back together to make that. Oh, God, I forgot what his name is. He was the one being before he was split into seven. But I'd love to see like the greater evil return.
Horadrim, that's what they're called. Elias
Haradrim.
used to be a
No,
Horadrim.
Haradrim is the group to fight evil.
Correct. And Elias used to be part of that group.
I know, but what I'm talking about, his name, it's like all the seven evils, the three primordial evils and the five
Yeah.
lesser evils. They used to be one actual entity.
Mm. Now
I
that I don't know.
I just can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't know. I know the three primevals are Diablo, Mephisto, and I forgot what the third one is. And there's a part of the story like they'll mention them. Oh, Ball. That's what it is. Ball. Um, Yeah, I'm not going to comment on your comments, but you'll know at the end where the DLC was, unless they do a total swerve and then they don't do that, which I think would be kind of dumb. But
So I know you're not
we'll
gonna tell me
see.
in detail, but was I hot or cold with the two characters I named?
You were very cold.
Very cold. So I'm not gonna see any of those two
There is only
characters.
one part of everything that you said that has accuracy. Other than that, you were very cold.
Okay, that's not what I'm asking. The two characters I
Oh,
name, they're not connected whatsoever with what's gonna happen later.
Elias and who?
That wolf dog that you see in the beginning that has the engraving on its skull.
They
That
they both
basically,
have connections to the longevity of the story,
I'm
but
talking about the
you're
end going forward.
one of them, yes.
Okay, so it's probably the wolf. At least that's my assumption for now. But okay, so it's cool to know that one of them might be playing a part.
Hmm.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
So, do you have any plans to play the Final Fantasy 16 demo?
I do want to. I had my buddy come over. What was that? Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. Was that the day it dropped?
I can't remember.
Okay. Well, one day this week, I had my buddy come over so he could play it while I was still playing Diablo,
Hmm.
and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm trying to see when I could squeeze in because it launches next week, which I'm not even get to play it right away because I'm going to Canada. So I might just not and
Dude,
just
just play it tonight. It's only 2 hours
and
long.
I it depending on how late this podcast goes, I gotta go to bed.
Okay, then play it
Maybe
tomorrow.
maybe.
Like I said, if it's 2 hours if
No,
you
no,
put yourself.
I think I will squeeze at some point because it's obviously being talked about on social media, and I don't want to spoil myself. So
All I can say, just from the demo, this is nudging Hogwarts Legacy out of Game of the Year.
what do you mean? It's Tears of the Kingdom. We went through this already.
Tears of the Kingdom is not Game of the Year. It's nowhere near close. Story wise sucked. Gameplay sucked.
Oh, that's your opinion.
Final
That is your
Fantasy
opinion.
16 has both gameplay and story going for it.
We'll see. I watched a little bit of my buddy play it. The cinematics and stuff are still pretty flawless, but the game engine itself, now that I saw it in the flesh, I was a little turned off by it.
It's funny that you
But
say
that
that, but
doesn't
yet you liked the look of like God of War, Horizon, and Last of Us.
I did, but I wasn't the one playing it. Like I was in and out. Like I was like, I don't know why. I was getting like, and this is a horrible comparison because they are not the same day and night difference. But like I don't know why I was getting like Final Fantasy 11 feel. That wasn't a good feeling. But I'm not. I'm still gonna play it. I'm not trying to shit on it. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. Uh, I just don't know when I could squeeze it in. Probably maybe. I'll definitely have time Sunday. But Saturday I have a lot of wrestling going on in the next week. I got show Saturday, show Wednesday, and then show next week Sunday. So yeah, my schedule's getting very clustered at the moment.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna talk about the story or gameplay. All I'm gonna say
Yeah.
is whoever the voice actor for Clive and Joshua
Hmm.
is, phenomenal. I can't wait to see more from them. Just the little bit I got was amazing. And I know people like to say it's Game of Thrones. I don't want to say it's Game of Thrones. It's more like Hamlet, a little
Hmm.
bit with like the family dynamics and all that stuff. It was really good to see. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a really good game. And if the open world is anywhere near the trailers, like I said, it's easily nudging out Hogwarts Legacy, unless the cultural impact isn't there like Hogwarts Legacy was, because Hogwarts Legacy is still talked about and played to this day quite often. Tears of the Kingdom dropped off quickly, and if
Yeah.
this game can hold some longevity in social media, then this is clearly Game of the Year.
We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, it's just getting. Um, the only negative reviews that, and I don't even think they're reviews really. The only thing negative I've been reading is how a lot of the, and I brought this up before, like a lot of fanboys are upset about, oh, this isn't a true Final Fantasy. This isn't what Final Fantasy is, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nerd, stop yourselves. Like, even me, like, I could somewhat agree with them, but not really entirely. It's like, it's fucking Final Fantasy. Like, all because the whole gameplay engine changes and there's not this and there's not that. Like just stop yourself. And like I told you on a previous podcast, like this to me, this look is more Final Fantasy than the stuff that we have been having. Like you go back historically, even though it's very hard to probably picture it in your damn mind, but the 8 bits and the 16 bits, they looked more like this. So um so yeah, no, I'm still excited. I just don't. I'm not trying to like butt heads with you. I just don't know when I'm gonna do the demo. But
I'm only encouraging it because good, but
it's
honestly, I
also
don't care
how
if you
you know
do.
what, I just remember it's also a holiday weekend, so we got Monday off too.
Yeah, but
So
I can understand a little bit of what they're saying though. Like the character still looks like Final Fantasy, but overall story and tone of the game is much different than any Final Fantasy we've ever seen, even the Pixel ones. It's very dark, and
which
usually,
I'm looking forward to.
yeah, it's great. And it's just kind of weird because like Final Fantasy kind of gets a little dark sometimes with certain characters and all that stuff. But like they kind of tone it down a little bit. This one is just full from front to back, killing characters dying.
Yeah, like my friend was saying, he's like, "Oh, there's a lot of blood." I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool." Yeah, no, I'm looking like for me, Final Fantasy, like it's elements that I look for to make it Final Fantasy. Like, are there chocobos? Check. Are there Moogles? Check. Is there a marble? Check. Is there a Tonberry? Maybe check. I'm sure there will be. You know, there's things that are in Final Fantasy that make it Final Fantasy. The characters, the story, and everything. Yes, those need to be good, but there's no staticness there. There never was. So anyhow, that's my 2 cents. No, I'll squeeze it at some point. I just don't have an answer for you when exactly, because more likely it's looking to be Sunday. I'll try to squeeze it in tomorrow. But I'm going out right after work, and who knows what that might lead to. So
Well, do what you gotta do. Like I said, I really don't care if you play it, but if you do play it, you're
I'm
probably gonna
playing
enjoy
it. I
it.
just don't know if I'm playing the beta or the beta. I'm sorry, the demo,
The,
because I'm
the cool
obviously getting. I've reserved it. In fact, I got my email that they're like it's on the way. So
the cool thing about the demo is that your store progress does transfer to the
yeah,
actual game, which
yeah.
I hope. So I'm wondering if the demo is actually just really the first part of the game, because I know some demos kind of like take into bits and pieces. So I'm like,
Yeah.
do I want to start fresh, or is this really just the first part?
Yeah, and I think I don't know if you mentioned it last podcast or if it's once again something I read on social media. And once again, not trying to spoil myself because I'm not looking to do that, but you know, I had heard about it, some sort of time jump, like so it's not in continuum. And kind of relating to your question is, well, is that exactly how it's going to start off, or did we just get teased with some shit? Because to your point, they did mention that this will carry over, but now what is it that carried over? Which is kind of why, like, I don't mind waiting to not play it and just wait. Because if there's that little time jump, that's not that it's not irrelevant because it's obviously relevant to the story, but you know, I don't know. Like I figure, like just start it fresh, but we'll see. It's still installed on
Yes.
my PS5.
So, but since you've died in Diablo, have you been doing
Mhm.
anything in World of Warcraft?
No, I just died yesterday.
Okay.
So I died yesterday, and um, what happened? I cried. No, I'm just playing.
You went to
No,
bed sad.
no, I died. I died. Oh, that's right, because yesterday was Wednesday. So I died before my soap operas, like 20 minutes before. So it was like, well, there's that. So I went to go watch my wrestling, and then after that, I watched the Super Mario Twins movie. And that was pretty much my day yesterday. So, and then today's podcast. So after podcast, I won't be playing any games either. I'll just be doing some chores. And tomorrow, like I said, work, go out. Don't know what the evening may hold. Maybe I'll come back hammered and play the demo. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
So, but yeah, while we'll be back on the weekend.
Cool. Before we move on, I forgot, what character did you play in Diablo? I don't think I've ever asked.
First character was a druid, got it to 26. Second character was a sorcerer to 59.
Did you pick sorcerer because of the cheat death mechanic?
I didn't even know about that. I swear to you on my life, I had no idea about that. I just did sorcerer because I don't know. I just did it. I was thinking about doing rogue because I thought that one was the one that was closer to demon hunter, but I just opted with sorcerer, and I learned that as I was leveling. I'm like, oh, well, that's fancy. And you know how I died? So to that point, because I didn't know the answer, and I probably could have Googled this. So I used that ability to, not die. And then it didn't proc because it was on cooldown. I didn't know that. That's why I died.
Yeah, that's
so my
something
expectation was that my expectation was like, oh, it didn't. That cheat death didn't proc, so I'm safe. No, that wasn't safe.
Yeah, they need to be more clear with that because there's two shields. There's a flame shield that's a cheat death, and then there's ice shield. So the ice shield is what people constantly reapply. It's when they take a hit and they're close to dying. That's when the flame shield auto procs to give you that extra 120.
So they a lot of people are running both of them. Is what you're saying?
Yes. Frost shield as the automatic mitigation for damage, and the flame shield is just for that cheat death part. Nothing.
Well, both of them actually. It's not mitigation. I mean, yes, they do both mitigate damage, but they also deal damage. Is what I want to say. So that's interesting. See, I didn't bother looking at like builds or anything. Like I didn't want to. It's always a copycat league, and that's sometimes what I dislike about gaming. WoW especially, because I've always, people rag on my time. I don't care. Your DPS sucks. Yeah, well, I'm not fucking running the meta build because I'm not letting them dictate how I play the game. So similar to Diablo, like I didn't bother reading what I should put my talents. I'm gonna read it myself and apply them how I want to fucking play the character.
And then you're like, I forgot to read this spell and I messed up.
No, I mean I read the spell, but like I just didn't know. Like I even asked myself that question. I was like, does this proc if it's on cooldown? And like I said, I probably could have Googled the answer, but I didn't. And I learned the hard way, literally the hardcore way. So it is what it is.
Yeah, which sucks. Obviously you put all the time and effort, and then it's just gone. That's why I'm trying to do casual first. But before I move on to this, the one thing I forgot to mention is as I'm playing, is I really, really, really like the talent building in Diablo 4 because it's not just like obviously like you have a skill tree that branches down, but you don't have to do the one on the bottom. You can actually put all your points into the very top one and play just that only.
Yeah, there's only I think it's the ultimate is the only one. Oh, the ultimate you can only have one ultimate, and I think the very bottom two you can only select one. Versus to your point, I think the other three you could do two or one. I mean, hell, up until the last day yesterday, I was only running what would that be? 4 abilities, I think. Or was it 5 abilities? Either way, I had one ability that was totally blank. Like I didn't have max abilities. Like I was playing that way for up until yesterday. And then all of a sudden I was like, what did I get? I ended up getting I think that's what I ended up getting was the ice armor thing. And oddly enough I still died.
But yeah, like I just thought it was cool that it's not like you could just be an ice fire I think it's called arc or whatever. You could literally be a combination of ice and arc or ice and fire.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool. I'm so glad they did that because usually most games are very strict on what you can play.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool too. And it also makes it that much more difficult though when you're trying to gear though because like, and I think that's why I liked having less abilities because that way on my gear I could actually just apply like, well, I don't know if you've got there yet, but you'll get certain gear that says +1 or plus even 2 ranks to that particular ability. So by talent points, you can get 5 of 5. I had some that were 9 of 5. Like it was pretty cool.
So I still haven't understood the stat. Obviously, I know two of them. I know strength and intelligence. Intelligence is most likely for mana. Strength is probably for physical DPS. I have no idea what willpower is. I feel like dexterity is for mobility, but I could be wrong about that. So what's willpower and dexterity?
So unfortunately, intellect has nothing to do with mana, but I can't tell you off the top of my head
Oh, does intelligence
because
just increase spell attack?
I think it increases critical strike damage. But if you hover over, oh, that's right, you're not playing on a PC. So on a PC, you can just put your mouse cursor over it, and it'll tell you. And then when you go into, there's an additional menu that goes into all the other stats, right? Because you got like, there's so many stats. Like there's a dumb amount of different stats. Same thing, you could hover over every single one of them to, and it tells you what it does for your character. I just don't know. I don't want to give you the wrong information.
Okay, I'll probably have to look at it because so far the console version is very simplistic, but you still have all the features that PC has. So it's probably like in a menu somewhere that you just have to click. Because I know you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's like it almost looks like a dungeon map for the skills.
Yeah,
So
it
probably
does.
there.
It's a long list. Yeah, I was watching you play a little bit last night, and I saw like instead of the UI being centered, it's like off to the corner.
I like
And
that
I
a
was
lot
like,
better than PC.
"Oh, you do? Oh, you
Yes.
do?" I was like, "That looks." Eh. But if you like it, that's all that matters.
Well, the reason I like is because your main center of view is right in front of you. I get to see what's underneath my feet, and also the health and mana are next to each other. I literally don't have to look left or right. It's just right there in that one spot, and the cooldowns are just pretty close together.
I think for me, like, I never, ever, ever concern myself with running out of mana. Pun intended. No, but I was always just concerned with health, right? Because hardcore, we're like, if I'm out of mana, so what? I'm just gonna do. Because my health was a concern. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's funny. Even though I'm playing casual, I'm playing it like it's hardcore because I'm trying. Like this is my trial run,
Uh-huh.
and dude, I have my things set up where my frost bolts every time it gets a hit, I regenerate mana. My frost
Mm-hmm.
shield gives me 25% mana regeneration, but then
Mm-hmm.
my ice bolts every time they hit vulnerability gives me health back, and I think it's like 5 or 10 every time I kill somebody. So pretty much if I'm half every time I kill like maybe 2 or 3 guys, I'm back to full, and that's without
Mm-hmm.
a potion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
like,
I had well, not with my talents, but I had armor that one gave me like plus 17 health per close enemy for a maximum of like 125 health per second, and it was just like I'm a barbarian now. Like it's like I was like this is awesome. It was great, but doesn't help you from one shot. So
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it seems like we both enjoyed our time. I'm still enjoying my time. You enjoyed your time. Is there
yep, I enjoyed my time.
anything else this week that you want to talk about? Is there anything that happened?
Um, gaming wise, no. Like I said, the Diablo, gracefully put me down a little rabbit hole. I did have my personal, I guess, news. I did have my most recent braces appointment yesterday, and hopefully in a month I get told that they're about to come off soon. So they said a month from now, if things are good, they'll do my impressions, and I don't know when they schedule the next one after that, but yeah, at the almost at the finish line here with these damn braces, so that's cool.
That's cool.
And yeah, and other than that, like I said, got Canada coming next week. So for those that are listening or listen later, we'll have to figure out how we do the podcast next week, or if we skip a week. I don't know yet. We'll talk about that off air, but because we haven't had the luxury of doing that yet, unfortunately. So yeah, good stuff, fun stuff.
I was trying to see if there's anything in my bookmarks or saved history
Oh yeah, yeah,
of
yeah. That's
like
right, right.
quick news roundup, but
Yeah, the quick hits.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to do that myself. But
It seems like this week there was no like little quick news. It was just all boom, 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 big news everywhere.
well, you still had the Summerfest going on, which obviously we're gonna get into here. Very tiny news. I like this, even though I never finished a game, but I thought it was odd when I saw it. Apparently, there's a free update for Triangle Strategy available now. Unlock the ability to replay character stories and story battles, as well as experience a brand new, fully voiced extra chapter. Thought that was interesting, even though I didn't play it all.
Wait,
But
do you see this is for Triangle Strategy?
yeah,
The game that you never played.
yeah. Well, not never played. I started playing and just unfortunately didn't commit fully to it, which dare I say regret because I'm sure it's a great game, or I've heard good things about it. You even told me you heard good things about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add. We talked about the demo, even though I didn't play it, but we still talked about it. So yeah, I'm ready to dive right into topic one.
All right. So, topic one is Twitch. Recently, well, the last 2.5 weeks, Twitch has been making a lot of changes. A lot of people are considering drastic changes. Like one is the reduction of paid branding, which that only affects people that are sponsored, not us. They can only take up 3% of their screen, which a lot of people are upset about, especially people that are doing charity streams, because obviously most charity streams are sponsored by companies, and they usually take a big portion of the screen just to show that they are powering this charity event. So it seems like Twitch is making special exceptions just for them, if as long as they're approved by whatever charity organization they're running by, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
good, because before it's pretty much going to shut all of them down, like Games Done Quick, all that stuff. So I'm glad they reverted some of those decisions for these specific things, which makes me happy. Also, you heard them, what was it, I think last week, if they completely canceled multi-streaming as long as it's a web-based browser. And before, the workaround to that is that you would have to basically revoke your partner or affiliate status with them so you can multi-stream to both YouTube, Twitch, or whatever other platform you choose. Now it's just completely banned in general. Even if you're not a partner or affiliate, in your multi-streaming, you will get banned.
Mm.
Which a lot of people are very upset about, because Twitch is no longer focusing on being the main source of, uh, basically the main source for game streaming. Basically, YouTube, Kick, and all those other places are taking over. They're just trying to hold on to that. What's it called? The first place, them being the first streaming service, and that's all they're going to hold on to. And then whatever sponsorships they work up with, like WWE and was NBA, NFL. So it seems like they're only focused on that now. And if you do want to revoke your membership with them, you do have to pay $25 to get out. So it's like they're still taking money from you even if you want to leave, which I think is stupid. But it is what it is. And recent news, they made an announcement that, because they seen a mass exodus of people. When I say a mass exodus, I think it was over 700,000 people that left
Mm.
Twitch already. 600,000 joined Kick, and I think it was like anywhere from 400,000 that joined YouTube. And of course, these numbers I'm getting from Kick's official website, because they were happy to announce their 600,000 new members because of this whole incident. But during this, Twitch realized that they should probably change some things. So now they're introducing a new Partner Plus program, where these Partner Pluses, that if they retain 350 active subs for 3 months in a row, they'll automatically be enrolled, and the split for that revenue will be 70-30. But that only is for paid subscriptions, and it does
Not
not
primes.
include it does not include Prime or gifted subs, which is weird, because it
Oh,
basically de-incentivizes people to have extra money that they're willing to give. So even if it's a gifted sub, they're still taking a 50-50 split, unlike a paid sub.
yeah.
Or tier 2s and 3s also don't count either, which is weird.
Mm. Yeah, that is weird.
And
Hmm.
apparently that if you exceed an annual income of over 100,000 per stream, they'll also reduct you again back to 50%. So if you're like one of those really big
Hmm.
streamers, which obviously if you're a big streamer making over 100,000 streaming,
It's
it
like a
kind
one
of
percent.
yeah, it kind of makes sense, because going back to the business to keep funding that platform. But I know people are like, hey, I'm doing my job correctly. If I'm making money, you shouldn't take it from me. So
Yeah.
it seems like if you reach over 100,000 annual income from it, they will put you back to that 50-50 split,
Mm.
which I think is interesting.
But is that now? Does that? How can I put it? That's after the 100K earned, and then once the fiscal year ends, you could go back to 70-30 again for that first 100K, or okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes. So once you hit the 100K limit, then it goes back to 50-50. But before the 100K,
yeah,
it's 70-30 as long as it's a paid sub and not a gifted or prime.
yeah.
So, I mean, this one is kind of weird because how do I
It
say?
almost doesn't make. It almost doesn't make. It definitely obviously penalizes the smaller streamer, or when I say small streamer, I mean all streamers that aren't that 1%. And the reason being is because like it's obviously hurting them more. You would think if they would just do the 70-30 across the board, well, the big streamers are going to get there regardless, so they're going to get there quicker, so therefore you're going to penalize them quicker. Versus the other ones that are struggling, dare I say struggle, but to get there, like it's like, you know, that's the reason why they're not going to do it, because they'll be giving up more money to them rather than the big people. So I guess in that business standpoint, it makes sense. But yeah, it's kind of shitty. I don't know how much that really lures people back. I highly doubt it does at all.
Yeah, people are saying that it's a good idea, but it sucks because it only affects the very few.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't.
the one thing I will say is it would be nice to see the gifteds count because that makes sense because that's still a paid sub.
Mm-hmm.
But the prime subs, it makes sense. That's a free sub. Twitch is basically giving you a free 250.
100%.
That one makes
Exactly.
sense. That one I'm cool with the 50-50 split. But
100%.
but the gifted ones, they should count.
Yeah. Or even the tiers. I mean, because like, how
Yeah.
often do you even get it tiered? You know,
Yeah.
like I
And
think
those
when
tiers are
I
expensive.
exactly, I think when I did it for Chris.
You
And did I
actually
give you
gave
one?
yeah, was it tier 2 or 3?
I had three. I don't know how I said fuck two. There's no point in two.
Yeah, because when you did,
Go
I'm
big.
like, did you know what you did?
Yeah, yeah. Go big, go home. Yeah, because I gave you one. I gave Chris one, and I don't remember if you said it, but I think he said it. He's like I think that's my first tier three ever. He's like, thank you, Steve-O. And I was like, no problem, Chris. But yeah, like same thing. Like those should apply too. But I get it because the more you do it, they will lose money. But like you got to do the math now on a larger scale now because of your decisions. How much are you losing from the exodus versus if you were less greedy? But then you got to look on the other side to the point where we kind of started this last week. Now they're doing these agreements like the WWE's and stuff like that. You know, where's the give and take in that, right?
it,
Um,
it's funny that you mentioned that because the take aspect of that is huge for Twitch because I think I don't know what the contract was, but I think it was like a couple million, not like it's been like less than 5 million for the contract. But that's a lot of money, especially for the fact that whenever you see the NBA games or NFL games being broadcast, there's not many people watching it. It's like less than
yeah,
30, really. Like
yeah,
for $1 million contract and you're getting less than 30 viewers per thing. I
that's
think
pretty piss poor.
yeah, I think NBA actually cut their contract off. They're no longer paying Twitch for that. I think they did that like a year and a half ago. But the fact that they had a year exclusive and they paid, I think, once again, this is me just remembering vaguely, but I think it was like a 3 million contract for a year. You know, only getting 30 viewers for each stream. I was like, Twitch made money off of that easy.
Yeah, yeah. I know, like, I mean, WWE obviously has a huge presence, and that will help Twitch maybe. Like that's the thing. Like this world, this realm, whatever you want to dub it as, like it is a niche world, right? So like the idea that you're gonna go and make a contract and have instant success is not guaranteed.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say, but like what I did want to say last week, but I wanted to say for this topic was like, you know, because we made the mentions of the contracts, and it makes me wonder if like if the content creator themselves, if it gets to a point where there's now going to be exclusive contracts with all the different options that there are now, I don't know if that'll happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if that happens.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like if they pay one streamer specifically to just stream that site.
Yes.
That's happened multiple times already.
Yeah, but does Twitch do that?
Yes.
I
Well,
don't
they,
think.
they,
Oh,
they did it. They did it for a couple people, but then they stopped because they're like people are just gonna come to us anyways. But then
Yeah,
once they
because the
stopped,
cockiness. Yeah.
that's when YouTube took over, and
Hmm.
that's when they started paying them big stuff.
Yeah. So I wonder if that still, or if that may resurrect then. I guess because you said it happened already, but I wonder if it's going to be a resurrected approach with Twitch. Um, Probably doubt it, but it was something I wanted to bring up last week.
So I want to say they probably won't go down this route again because of current legal issues. Because there's a streamer, I'm pretty sure you heard of him. His name is Ninja.
Hmm.
So recently he was actually had a contract with I think it was State Farm and Twitch. He had to do like a set amount of streams for Twitch, but then he moved over to Kick, and then Twitch banned him. So even though he's technically contracted to do those streams, since Twitch banned him, he's no longer able to do those streams, thus getting him out of that contractual obligation. And because of that, Twitch lost some money, and Ninja was able to get some money off these lawsuits. And there's also been other people like Dr. Disrespect. He also had this whole back and forth contract with Twitch, and then they banned him permanently. Then moved to YouTube, and then had a contract with them. And then because of that, his contract was halved by 2 years because he was supposed to stream exclusively to Twitch for 2 years. But because they banned him, that 2 year contract was null, and he was able to get out free with that contract money going over to YouTube. So just because they've already had 3 streamers take a lot of money from them, I highly doubt they're going to do it again, just because Twitch is very known to be very banhammerish, especially for very petty things.
Well, to me, it sounds like they got bad contracts written because, like, once again, I'm going with the wrestling approach here, and WWE was notorious and still is notorious, I guess, for doing this. Is when they have their contracts, their talent contracts, because that's kind of I'm putting them in the same linear path here. When they sign these talent contracts, in the event there is a breach or something happens, they're not allowed contractually to work with competitors for X amount of time. That's something Twitch could do. Maybe that's
No one would ever sign that contract. People are too smart to see these competitive options.
Superstars do it all the time.
Well, that's in wrestling. Most of them don't really have other options except for AEW coming up.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, that's, I'm playing the evil card here, right? The evil contract card. Like, that's something that could be written in the terms. It's like,
yeah, but if they're going to do that, they would have to do it earlier. It's too late for that.
Money always talks. You say that now because of options, which you're right, but maybe they pull a horseshoe out of their ass, like, okay, we're going to pony up some extra cash because we could see you move the needle. However, here's the terms. You fuck us over, well, you can't use another streaming service for a whole year, hypothetically. It could happen.
It could happen, but it won't because of everybody being lawyered up and all these other sites offering so much better. Like, what was it? There was, I don't want to go back to it, but I'm going to. Andrew Tate. Mm-hmm. When before he became super controversial, he was going to go to YouTube or Twitch. Twitch said no, they don't want him at all. Then he went to YouTube, and obviously YouTube censored him too. And then he went to Rumble, and because of that, he now has the top 5th most viewed stream ever. I think his stream since he came back from his allegation of prison was like 475,000 people watching at one time.
Yeah, I think it was. I believe I saw that too. I think it was over 500,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think they ranked it as the 3rd largest all-time live viewer count.
Yeah,
which to me is just. I like. I mean, obviously the guy has a lot of gravitas or whatever. I don't understand it. I really don't. But when you got that many people that want to hear what you have to say, I mean, dare I say it this way, you're doing something right.
I don't think it's necessarily they want to hear him. It's more the curiosity of why it's happening.
There's that. There's obviously a group of people I want to see him continue failing or fail in general. It's when I said that, I don't mean it as a statement that they're all supporters, because that's not the case.
Yeah.
There, like I said, there's a gravitas. There's an appealing thing to him, whether it's positive or negative. I'm just saying, like, even in a curiosity standpoint, like you're suggesting, I don't have it, but that's the world we live in, right? I mean, it's a huge world. 500,000 people is, in the grand scheme of things, not the entire world, but it's a lot of people.
So the
A
reason
lot
why
of people.
so the reason why I brought him up isn't because of Andrew Tate. It's because he's on a platform called Rumble. Probably the least amount of users per Kick, Twitch, YouTube, etc. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that just him alone was able to pull the fifth most watched stream on all platforms on a platform that doesn't have that many members is pretty crazy. And not only that, but Twitch rejected him, and then the same thing with the streamer Ninja that's also had, I think he might be number 2 for most watched stream of all time. Twitch rejected him too, pushing him over to YouTube and then Kick. And then same thing with Dr. Disrespect having one of those highest things as well, and then they rejected him. It's like Twitch is purposely killing itself here. It's like the some of the biggest streamers they could have had, they're now pushing them away. And I think there's a guy, his name is iShowSpeed. You probably heard of him. I think he's probably like the most sub person on Twitch or whatever, or he holds a record like that. Now they're starting to hit him with a lot of penalties and bans, pretty much forcing him to leave the platform. Like, why are you hurting your biggest creators? Like, you think you want to cater to, obviously, for people like me, it's probably best that they're pushing these people away, but it's like, it doesn't make sense business-wise to push your biggest streamers off the platform. And for very petty
Well,
reasons of them, criticizing you on your horrible decision-making.
yeah, like how we're kind of doing right now.
Yeah, but we don't have that audience for that. Like,
No, I get it, and like when you're doing it in that manner, like just for criticizing your own thing, like that's just petty and dumb, of course. But when it comes to all the other type of stuff, like I understand you have to protect your brand as well. Um, but I don't know every ban that's happened, right, and the reason for it, nor am I going to go do my homework. But I understand there's a level where you have to protect your brand, no matter what the loss may be. Um, so that's kind of all I gotta really say in that regard.
yeah,
But
it's just weird to see Twitch like enforce all these odd rules because one of the criticisms Ninja made it, but then there's also I can't remember the names. I feel bad, but they're pretty known creators as well. They were criticizing Twitch and their hot tub selection, how they're protecting these people that are considered sexually
yeah,
explicit, but still promoting them. But
yeah,
then yet they're banning other. Well, I don't want to use them as like the catalyst here, but they're banning other streamers here for showing, getting up and just wearing like a short, whatever. But they didn't do it on purpose. It was just on camera for like a second. They didn't realize it was there, and then they
yeah.
get banned. But yet you can literally be in a
It's
bikini in a hot tub.
correct. The ones that are exploiting the system within the terms are being rewarded, versus the ones that aren't doing it, have an actual oopsie daisy, are getting viciously uh, getting the hammer. No, I get it. It's obviously not fair, but that's the world we live in. I mean, you got a group of people that know how to exploit the system, and to your point, Twitch is allowing it.
Well, it's not a group of people exploiting the system. It's Twitch specifically protecting them because like you can tell because what was his name God, I can't remember his name. There's a streamer that criticized another streamer called Pokimane. And obviously, Pokimane has some close connections with some of the staff members at Twitch. And because of this, Twitch actually banned, I think his name is Gideon. But they banned Gideon because they didn't like the way he was saying. They said he was harassing her, even though he was just criticizing, publicly, and she didn't like it. But they banned him, but they protected her. And the same thing with like that girl we mentioned earlier, the one that's doing Diablo and World of Warcraft. She was penalized because she was wearing, a tank top because it was hot and all that stuff, and they hit her with a strike because of her wearing too much, showing too much cleavage. But yet they're literally protecting girls like Amaroth and all that stuff that are showing way too much cleavage, but yet it's okay for her. It's like they definitely have favorite streamers that they're protecting over others, and that's the problem, is that they got favoritism in the company that should not have favoritism.
The favoritism, I mean, favoritism's in every work environment in the world. I'll just start there. But I get it, and like I said, it's not fair. But going back to the whole hot tub thing, like I want to say it's like they're protected, but remember they're doing everything within the guidelines that are set for them. So it's hard to like they're not going to get penalized. Versus if your guidelines is not that genre, and the oops happens, like I don't know, like I get it, it sucks, but that's not your theme. Like you got to stay within your theme. You got to stay within your parameters. Like I'm trying to come up with an analogy, and I can't really think of one right now. But like I get it, it's not fair, but it's also like your perception is what you are giving, right? And if you're not doing hot tub streams and you are a gamer, which is totally fine and great, but you could get a strike because you're not that person, then it is what it is. Like those are the rules. Like I don't know what to say.
It's not some of the well, we could nitpick all this stuff, but there's some unjust bans. But so
Well,
going
that's
back to
yeah,
the
that is a different subject for sure.
so going back to the whole thing of Twitch, I'm going to use the term hemorrhaging viewers because that's kind of what they're doing. Even though they're not physically feeling it right now, I think in the long run, as long as YouTube and Kick capitalize off of this, they could definitely feel it in the coming months. But is there a way for Twitch to redeem themselves and get people back? Obviously, you could see them doing weird moves like the 70-30 split, only if you're like a partner plus and you have to have 350 concurrent subs. But I feel like that's a very minor step and only affects a few.
Oh,
They need to figure out how to appeal to the masses to incentivize them to stick to the platform. I feel like currently they don't have that. I don't know what they could really do to keep them there, because so far the only thing that they have is the Twitch drops. That's the only thing that really incentivizes you to watch a streamer on Twitch more than YouTube or Kick. But that's about it. It's just in-game content.
So is your question directed to the creators or the viewers?
Both.
Okay. So
Like, what could
for
they
the
do to entice? Well, obviously you're gonna stay on Twitch because
well,
you don't care. But like,
true. No, but like okay, so I'll answer both parts. So the creator, I mean, I'm not that 1%, so I don't know what the hell they're looking for, but obviously money has a lot to do with it, income. So the better you give a larger split, that obviously is a good direction, but not this piss poor thing that they have out right now. Um, so that's kind of really my 2 cents on that. I don't really know anything else beyond that. I guess kind of per what we're just talking about, the ban hammer needs to not be as um, easily used. But as a viewer, I think it's clear as day that the viewers are going to pretty much follow who they like, right? So like the content creators that they're losing, well, they get them back, and in return they get those viewers. Like I don't think you're gonna see an exodus where I mean you'll probably see some, don't get me wrong, like, oh you hypocrite, you did all this and now you just went crawling back. Fuck you, I'm not gonna watch you again, blah blah blah. There's always gonna be those. But for the most part, I think viewers are loyal fans to their to who they like. So in reality, they got to figure out a way to cater better to the creators rather than the viewers. Not to say the viewers don't mean anything, because they do, but you know what I'm saying? Like I think it's clear as day that the viewers are following the people they like because they're following them on other platforms.
so as you're talking, I kind of create a temp solution that would one boost smaller creators and also big creators too, and also kind of I don't want to use the term cycling people, but
Mm-hmm.
like filter people into newer streams to get them to see if they get addicted to another person. So Twitch has good.
If I could piggyback that, what you just said, it would be interesting that for all creators, so for everybody that ends a stream, right? Unless you as a content creator set it up beforehand, but maybe they should do some sort of like randomization, just segue them to probably keep it within parameters, of course, like, okay, same game. Boom. Randomization. Who else is playing the same game? It auto populates a link there to someone else live. That would be great.
It's funny that you say, because that's actually what I was going to lead into.
Oh,
So
okay, sorry.
no, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we're both on the same wavelength here. So Twitch currently has a Twitch currently has a feature where once in a while they might highlight a new streamer. They'll pop up on the front page. You'll see them, even if they have very low viewer. It'll just pop up. Doesn't matter what game they are. They'll just happen to hit the jackpot. I think what Twitch needs to do is they need to see streamers, content creators that are really putting in the time and effort with streaming clips, etc., and have a, how do you say it? Kind of like how the Partner Plus is, where if you hit like a certain amount of hours streamed or clips uploaded, you'll be put into this increased raffle to have you put on the front page. And if you don't get there, your chances increase so you get to the front page. And then that would also lead people to check on you or whatever, and or like basically promote you. But then also as to your saying is, I was also going to lead into, if a streamer doesn't have the setup, or if they have, the people that they automatically host or raid are offline, that should funnel those viewers to someone else in that same directory, that is, either closely related to tags or, title, whatever, just so they can keep going with the interest. I'm surprised Switch hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, I think as we're having this discussion, I think that would be a fantastic, dare I say, no-brainer change. Going back to a similar streaming content topic we had a while ago, like I remember you mentioning that the reason why big streamers don't raid smaller streamers is because of how toxic some people could be, and then they go in and they get that streamer banned. So that's like another thing too that I feel like is a dumb thing when it comes to banning the content creators. It's like yeah, I get it. You can have mods and stuff, and you should have mods at some point, but like you can't police all that. Like that's more of a Twitch problem, not the content creator problem. Like that shit needs to get reevaluated, and dare I say evaluated on an instance by instance. I wonder if that's why they don't do that randomization approach, because of those reasons. But like to me, it's like, well, don't do it because that's the issue. Fix that issue and fucking do it.
Yeah, like don't blame the streamer for rating. It should be the individual accounts typing, because
yes,
I mean Twitch could do it. They literally have a saved archive of chat logs for each individual account. They could just look at it and be like, okay, like let's say the streamer's streaming and they see a whole bunch of idiots come into the chat and type in ban. The streamer will then go to Twitch later and be like, listen, these guys were harassing me. They'll look at their ban list and they'll be like, this. They look at the chat log. Then they could do it individually instead of, canceling raids altogether.
Yeah.
But of course, I feel like Twitch doesn't want to do that work.
No, I was just about to say that is just admitting pure laziness, is what it is. Now, in return, it could probably say, and I'm sure everybody in the terms says, it's the person streaming's responsibility. Of course, they have a responsibility, but like, if you're trying to, get other people involved, and the more people you get, how can I put it? I don't want to say famous, but the more people that you have streaming on your service that are going to bring viewers and concurrent viewers is only empowering your entire service. So why would you not try to find ways to make that happen? I think that would be a fantastic idea. Like, that would be a slam dunk idea. That'd be fantastic.
I'm going to go back to what you said. It's a rare occurrence that we're both on the same wavelength. It seems like we both agree that this could be a solution that Twitch could implement to, one, benefit the streamers and then also help the viewers at the same time. It's just like, it's like the fact that you and I could think about this, and Twitch has multiple members and billions of dollars to this.
Yeah.
It's like, why aren't they doing this? They probably thought about it. They just don't. Yeah. My opinion is they probably just don't care.
And dare I take it this extra level, but even to make it, even have it where it's forced, so it's not even an option to like turn it off, because like I don't know why, like even when doing this podcast, right? I remember how many times I told you when before we even started this thing how I kind of um, think of it like a radio talk show or whatever, or radio car radio stuff. Similar to like streaming, like I kind of think about just watching TV, right? So you watch your favorite show, but what happens at the end of the show? Of course, additional programming comes on. So why the fuck should that not happen in streaming?
Mm.
Like, come on, really? So, yeah.
Well, now you know what I'm going to be doing after this. I'm gonna highlight this certain section and I'm gonna post it, and hopefully we gain some traction, and maybe we might be able to save Twitch from themselves.
They switch for themselves, yeah. I also, you know, you know a lot more than I do, so this is another one of those things that may already exist. But has any content creator ever? I don't know if it's even possible, but I guess with OnlyFans it is. But like, have they done things like behind a paywall? But actual like live streams? Yeah.
Well, we could literally do it right now. When you go live, you can actually make a live stream where it's only sub only, where only subscribers can watch you. Same thing with your past broadcast and your settings. You can also make it subscriber only mode where people if people want to watch your past broadcast, they have to be paid to watch it.
And
So,
that's through Twitch as well?
Yeah.
Oh shit! See, I didn't even know that. Okay.
So your live streams could be blocked by sub only, and your past broadcasts can be sub only. Your clips can be sub only. Everything can be locked behind a paywall if you want to put your settings on that way.
Yeah. Interesting.
I just feel like it just limits your visibility.
Oh, 100%. Like, it was just a random thought I had. Like, I was like, oh, I wonder if, yeah, I would never do that.
But there's streamers that do it. They're very petty, and most of them are OnlyFans streamers. Where I hate. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm, hating on female streamers that do this. Make your money, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. 100%.
But a lot of OnlyFans streamers come to this where they do just chatting, boom, right on their breast, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Once again, I agree with what you said, and I've said this with like other friends I talk to. I was like, I don't, uh, get upset at the women are doing this. I really applaud them. Where I dare even use the word as upset, but where I'm like, you fucking idiots, it's the fucking men out there. It's the damn, am I allowed to say simp? I don't care. It's our podcast. It's all those people out there that it's like, what are you doing?
Technically, you're not allowed to say that on Twitch because it's in the TOS, it's a banned word. But we're going to use the term simp as simple. That's how we're defining that word.
Wasn't it simpleton? Or is that banned too?
They have so many bad words. You can't twerk, you can't say that.
Really? Wow. See, I need to read the terms. But anyways, well, this episode's gone. Nice knowing y'all. No, but with that said, like I always said, as like I mean, once again, people obviously do what the hell they want with their own money. Look at my backdrop, but at least I got something tangible there. Like seriously, if you want to blow money on a chick, go to a damn strip club. At least you're gonna get some actual titties in your face. Like I just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like where we're at as a human race. Like,
dude, so this is gonna be funny.
Like, oh, go ahead.
Well, to add on to what you're saying with how sad it is currently for just people on the internet, there's so because of YouTube and me following a whole bunch of news sources, there's an actual thing called EPAL, and mostly it's women that are on EPAL. People pay them to play games with them and just talk to them. Nothing sexual, mostly just to keep them company.
Like that. Yeah.
And I'm like, the fact that you have to pay to have a woman talk to you. Well, maybe it's not just a woman, but mostly it is women that talk to you. I'm like, that's sad.
It really is, and like I feel like I'm obviously like showing dismay for those people, but I also feel bad and sad for them because it's like I'm not the most fucking popular person in the world, but like where are you at that you have to do that? I don't know, man. It's a weird world we live in. But yeah, I mean, like they're making their money. Kudos to them. Like it's safer than being a stripper. It's safer than being a freaking escort. So, and maybe they moonlight it. Sorry, but who knows?
Do you know what's funny is not to go down the weird rabbit hole, but I get curious just because things I don't understand I want to understand. So, what's her name? something Daniels. I forgot her name. She was a porn
Stormy?
star. Huh?
Stormy?
No, Stormy. It's not, there's another Daniels.
Oh, okay.
Um, but she's a younger woman. She was a porn star, and then she went over to Twitch. And
Mm.
just like you said, she was like, I don't have to reveal much. I can keep it very simple, keep clothes on, and I still get paid for it. Who doesn't want to go on this route? And it's funny seeing the transition from a lot of porn stars, OnlyFans, transitioning over to things like this because, like you said, it is safer. They don't even have to do much because people are still willing to throw money their direction. And I think it's hilarious
And
that they're smart enough for it.
they don't have to give a cut to their pimp, unless they still need a pimp. But I don't think they do at this point.
The only pimps they got is pimples.
Yeah, but yeah, like kind of funny. I like talking about watching them. Like I've never watched probably more than like 5 minutes of any of that content. But to your point, curiosity will happen sometimes. So I'll like click it and they're watching. And for me, it's cringy. Like legit, it's so cringy. Like, I mean, I'm a man, so I guess I can understand there's guys that are actually freaking whacking off watching this. I couldn't, but for me, it's just pure cringe. But like I said, I applaud them, make their money. It's the
Oh,
dudes, man.
I think their name is Sarah Daniels.
Sarah, I don't think I've ever heard of them.
It's funny.
I
Rest in
know.
peace to Toothless, but I think he's the one that told me about him. That told
Oh,
me about
okay.
her.
Like I do know of one that follows suit to what you're saying, and her name is Sasha Grey, and that was
I've
like
heard of
another.
her too. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was another one that I put on, but she's not doing what like Amaranth is doing. Like she's gaming now, which is pretty interesting. But of course, of course, on mine it's like, well, I seen you take dick, so it's like I can't watch you either.
It's funny. Maybe it's my lack of porn diversity, but like most of these porn stars that actually have gone to Twitch, I've never heard of them except for Twitter clips of them of like playing games and
Mm.
then be like, oh, look at this porn star on Twitch playing some Warzone or whatever. I'm like, all right, let me check it out. Let's see what the hell's going on. I'm like, ugh, you're a porn star? I'm like, ugh, good thing you made a transition. I know I'm being mean. I'm being mean. I'm like,
No, no, no.
I could see your career in that industry wasn't going far.
Well, not only that, but like, well, you watched that. I don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
Money Shot, the Pornhub story.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Did they go into that at all about like the drugs
Yes.
and stuff? They did. Okay, I
Oh, well,
figured
not
they.
the drugs. I thought you were talking about the streaming.
Oh no, 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 no. Because like, I mean, I think you'd be naive to think it doesn't happen anymore. But like, I know back in I guess probably '90s for sure, and then probably eras before that, like a lot of the women were still like they're practically basically getting raped. I mean, they're being drugged and having sex. Like, of course, they're still getting paid, but like, really, they were getting raped. I mean, so like, I don't know if that's still a thing. Like I said, with everything that's out there, like on Pornhub, I'm pretty sure there's still some sort of culture of that going on. But
It's funny. I think I've watched more documentaries on porn than I've actually watched porn.
watch porn.
I think I think I know what you're talking about. It wasn't all porn studios that was doing this. I think it was called Sundance. They were specific. They were known for treating their actresses and actors very poorly.
Oh, maybe I don't think I've heard of that in particular. I just like, I've seen like interviews. Yeah, pretty much interviews of ex porn stars
And
that
this was like
they.
during the 80s and 90s that was happening because I know Lisa
Yeah.
Ann was also. I'm not. She's pretty much known as the Queen of MILF from what I've seen. But she was talking about saying how certain production companies were just so bad, but then because of her and a bunch of other people, they moved on to make it more friendly and safer for all the working people in that industry.
Hmm.
But I remember it being pretty bad for a while. Like I think it was Sundance. That's the I could be wrong, but I think it sounds like that. That had a
Hmm.
lot of those raping drug issues.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, it's not that surprising when that's the world, I guess. But to your point, like I guess like now it's more safer. I mean, if anything, it's definitely true. Like the women are so more empowered, especially when you got the likes of OnlyFans and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much women are the pimps now.
It's funny. After talking about this, I realized how weird I am. The fact that I watch more documentaries and this stuff than actually watching it kind of makes me question myself.
Well, first off, I don't think anybody really watches porn. They just yeah,
Yeah.
do what they need to do with it.
It's funny. I've always said this about myself. I feel like a kid where like anything that sounds interesting, I want to dive into it so I can understand it. Even if I don't, side with it, I just want to understand it. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, no, it does. I mean, you just have a heavy interest of curiosity to kind of formulate an opinion, right?
Hmm.
So it's not a it's not a bad thing. I think it's good. Um, I think I do that a little bit, but there's just some things I just won't even touch with a 20-foot pole.
I want to say that. I think I developed this mindset is that if I'm going to hate something, I want to know why I hate it. Like, I don't want to, like.
I think I think how can I put it? Not that it's a scary approach, but like if you dig too deep, you might end up finding yourself empathizing with it, and you know what I'm saying? Like
No, I could
it's
tell
a
you
it's a
this.
it's
I've watched stuff on, the drug trafficking and, human trafficking. I don't empathize with those people at all.
that that's different. But I guess the analogy I want to look for is like when you. I mean, this is all like fantasy, but like they have movies about like the gangster movies and the villain movies. It's like they're supposed to be bad guys, but now you're painting a picture where we're supposed to empathize with them, like, and now you like them. So yeah, and that's when you start getting your serial killers out there. So
Oh, like
Josh,
the whole Jeffrey
what
Dahmer thing. It's
so
kind of
yeah,
funny.
so
Even though I watch a story, I understand them, but I still condemn them. Well, I don't want to use the word condemn, but I still
yeah,
think
you
they're
do. You
evil.
should.
Like, for
Like you
example,
should.
like the whole Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix thing. I was watching it. People are trying to make him like humane,
Mm-hmm.
victimized from his
Mm-hmm.
parents. I'm like, he still
Yeah.
killed people. I'm like, he's still evil. Don't make him feel no. Don't make him be another victim. I'm like, he still chose to kill somebody. So I think maybe once again I could be just a weird guy, but I've never had that sympathy factor for an evil character. I may understand them, but I've never said, "Oh, let them live." I'm like, kill them. They're bad.
Understanding is the first step to the dark path.
Well, there. If we're gonna say this for like the weird sympathy understanding part is
Uh-huh.
furries. I'm not a furry. I will never be a furry. I honestly think it's weird, but
Yeah.
because I watch people like Sonic Fox, the famous uh, fighting game player, he's probably the best in the world, really, in my opinion. Because of him and some people I've known that actually dress up in furry suits and them calling it personas, it's a way for them to express themselves that they normally wouldn't be because they're shy, and it made me understand and be like, okay, I get it. It's still weird, but I understand why you're doing it now, and that's why I'm less judgmental towards them, even though I think it's still weird.
No, I get what you're saying. I also still think it's a kink, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, because of my uh, diving into this, most of them don't actually do it in a sexual way, which I thought was really cool. Like they actually,
Oh, well, it's because they're not all of them either, but the kink is they actually get off on that, not the actual sexual desire of it.
some probably do. 100% of the people that
No, I
crawl
know,
around
I
all
know
fours like
some
to get whipped.
do. No, I'm certain, but what I'm getting at is like the pleasure is not in the sexual nature. The pleasure is just that
The
itself.
acting, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be the case. Now I might have to wash my hands because there was a convention here. It was the anime convention. I actually just went to it, and there's a whole lot of furries. And I decided to talk to some of them just to like understand them better. And if that's the case, then they're probably coming in their coming in their fursuit. And I was like, gotta wash my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite possible.
But yeah, I, man, we went so far off from the Twitch thing.
That's the Automata podcast. It wouldn't be otherwise.
Yeah. So, man, I don't even know how to reel that one back in except for like going to like another topic. Do you have anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
yeah, no, I think the way we reel it back in is exactly that. Anybody else out there that have a different idea, a different approach than what we offered about the randomization of stream rating, feel free to leave it in the comment section or write it on a whiteboard. Um, you want to mail a letter, we'll set up a PO box for you and we'll read it on the next podcast. Why
Yes.
do I always go to these old school mentalities? I don't understand.
If
But
if we ever make a PO box, I want someone to make you a furry suit.
Jesus. All right. But yeah, no, I got nothing else to add to that. We go ahead and segue to topic numero dos.
All right, so topic number two. Obviously, this last 2 weeks has been nothing but showcases. Recently, the Xbox showcase just happened. In my opinion, it's the best showcase that has been shown so far, but we'll dive into it. So, Xbox revealed, hold on, let me see, I have my list here. They revealed a whole plethora of games. Uno momento, where is it? Is this it? So, Xbox Showcase, they showed, I'm not even gonna count the games. I'm just gonna name them. Forza Motorsport, which kind of confused me because it didn't have a number and it didn't say Horizon. They showed that game. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which they've showed that game for like 3 or 4 years in a row. I'm still convinced that game's not gonna be made, but supposedly there's a release date. I think it's next year. They also showed new Fable, which this one was really interesting because people are criticizing Fable because they announced that Fable is going to be in 4K 30 FPS, and they're saying, "Oh, 4K 30 FPS, that's unacceptable. Give us 60 FPS." And most people that are complaining still played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom at 720 30. It's like, why are you complaining about frames if you're able to play that? And then also they gave them the weirdest compliment is that one of the things, another criticism about Fable is that they're like, "Oh, you're showing CG cutscene, whatever. That's all trailered, but all of that was in game, so that's in game cinematics, not actual like pre-rendered. So that
Mhm.
basically just shows how much effort they put into this Fable. So they showed Fable. They also showed Avowed. They showed more info. I think they gave a release date. I can't remember the stuff. Obviously, more stuff for Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom, which is one of the expansions. Towerborn, which actually has me interested. I honestly can't remember what the gameplay is. It's more like a roguelike in my opinion. They showed another game called Clockwork Revolution, which when I first seen it, I thought it was Bioshock. They also showed was a game called Path of Goddess. I'm gonna be honest, it's just Path of Goddess. That one didn't interest me, so I forgot all about it. Metaphor, which is from the same creators, Persona, which is a huge series that people love. And I think it's interesting that what was it, Sega and Xbox are now having this partnership together, which I think is probably the biggest announcement that we've had is that Sega might be the Square Enix to Xbox. you
But
know,
is it an exclusive? Is it an exclusive contract?
I don't think
I
it's
don't.
exclusive, but they actually hold on.
I don't think it is.
I think
Because I
they have
mean,
some
Sonic's.
exclusives.
Because I mean, Sonic's still like everywhere. So
Well, it's kind of like Square Enix. Square Enix has games on all platforms, but then they have some lockdown to just
true.
PlayStation.
So
Because
like their important IPs. It's almost like It's I get what you're saying. It's similar to Square Enix, but it's a little bit oppo. So like their non famous RPs are still or IPs are on all platforms versus these new IPs will be exclusive to Xbox.
yeah, like I think
Right?
Metaphor is
Yeah.
just for Xbox and PC. Just like Persona 3, which is the remake of the original Persona 3 from handheld, is being
Hmm.
just exclusive for Xbox and PlayStation as well. Persona 5 Tactica, which is a turn-based game, is also exclusive to just Xbox and PC. Um, I can't remember if this is exclusive or if it's the other one. They announced a game called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is another Sega game. Apparently, they have two Like a Dragon games coming out. One is A Man Without a Name or Like a Dragon Gaiden and Infinite Wealth. One of them is exclusive. I just can't remember which one it is. For me, I'm a huge fan because I love the Yakuza series and now Like a Dragon. Overwatch 2, which sucks. Hate to say it. Still Walks the Deep. I can't remember much about that. Dungeons of Hinterberg and Justin. And then last but not least, oh, actually, I skipped two games. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, which I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be pretty much a new game, but as a DLC. And then they also had the hour-long showcase for Starfield, and in my opinion, it was worth it and very much needed.
I thought they said that one too was 30 frames per second. Is that true?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I thought I didn't read the backlash on Fable. I thought I was reading it for that game.
They probably, I mean, I think Starfield, the reason why I didn't hear about it as much is because we already knew it was 4K 30 FPS, like even if you did like
Oh,
performance
okay.
mode, because they announced that a while
Gotcha.
ago. But when you see the showcase for Starfield, did you watch it?
I probably only watched like 3 minutes of that game. Um, I thought the environments and stuff looked amazing, like the worlds and all that stuff. But then when you got into like their main hub, it to me got a little like cartoony looking, and I was like, "Hey, what happened to all the good stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I'm never gonna play it. I will say this: that special edition controller they have for that game looks fucking badass.
Well,
Like I would probably just buy the controller and never own the system.
it's funny that you say because one, I also like the controller. I actually pre-ordered it. I want to see if I can get
Nice.
my hands on that watch. That watch,
Oh, I don't know anything about the watch.
I think it acts as a normal watch, but I think it also pairs
Hmm.
with the game, if I remember hearing that correctly,
Mm,
which would be kind
that's
of
pretty
interesting.
cool. Yeah.
Um, and if not, it's still a cool looking watch.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, from the game, I don't have a problem with 4K 30 FPS or even 1080 30 FPS because with how expansive this game is, I think there was like what was it 90 something solar system with multiple planets in solar systems. Like that's a lot of planets to actually go down, touch, and really explore, especially with animals
Hmm.
loading in and banded territories and build. Basically, you can build an outpost on each one of these planets, which is
Mm.
is kind of impressive. Um, and then seeing the talent build tree, you could either be a gunslinger or you could do a playthrough where you're just talking, where you have no actual combat whatsoever. You're basically the negotiator, the politician, the ambassador, or bureaucrat, whatever. You can pretty much play the whole game by
Mm.
talking your way into something or out of something, which I thought was really
That's
cool.
cool.
Seeing the
Yeah.
communications talent. Um,
Yeah.
the
That's pretty cool.
yeah, seeing all the different builds and play styles, like you could really be whatever you want to be in this game.
And is that game purely single player?
I believe so. Yes. Well, I'm gonna say yes
Ew.
because I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong.
So there's no online interaction whatsoever.
From my current understanding, no, and I'm fine
Ew.
with that. I'm 100% fine with that.
Mm. I don't know. That would kill it for me.
Okay,
Everything else
Zelda
is sounded cool until Zelda never had like online stuff. Well,
and
four
Starfield's a new
players.
IP
Well,
that never had online stuff. What's the difference?
I don't know. You have like worlds and galaxies. Zelda didn't have that. Zelda
Yeah.
had
Oh, you don't have a world and different
three
plateaus.
planes. Exactly.
They
Like
have
I want
Zelda
every
has different
Poe. I
realms.
want every Poe to be a player. Um, no, I just think there would be some benefit. Like when you start talking about like having outposts on every planet, it's like, oh well, it'd be cool to have people to check out your outpost. Like, hey, want to come see my outpost?
I think the reason why this probably from like I said, the problem I don't know. I'm just gonna say from what I currently understand, there is no
Yeah.
multiplayer, is because with
Mm-hmm.
how massive this game is, that'd be hard to
Mm-hmm.
program multiple players interacting with all these things and not have the game just run like absolute garbage.
Well, even if it was just this is going to be a wild comparison, but even if it was just like an invitation system like Animal Crossing, where it's like, here's my code, come to my Starfield world. I don't know, just something simplistic like that.
Yeah, but the only unfortunate part is that we're not running Animal Crossing graphics.
Hey, what do you got against Animal Crossing graphics?
I
You know
got
how
nothing against it. I'm just saying that this one.
you know how big that game was.
I'm just saying this one has a little bit more processing power behind it.
No. I get that, but it's just like, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it does. I mean, if there's anything that's true, especially this year, is single player campaign games have been doing pretty fucking well. So we'll leave it as that.
Yeah. But to go on to like my fascination with this game, because I know before I was saying
Hmm.
that Starfield needed to impress me. This
Hmm.
showcase, like I said, it was very much needed and very much like it won me over. They showed what they needed to. They showed, like I said, the talent tree, the gameplay, and all that stuff. But seeing the actual space combat, where you're in space fighting other ships and traversing from planet to planet, either be a fast travel or actually taking it slow and either going through debris fields and all that stuff, that won me over right there and then. The fact that not only can you explore planets, you can explore space itself, and that's pretty darn cool. And not
Cool.
only that, you can interchange your crew, so you can go to these different planets and either recruit them to your space thing or basically drop them off and abandon them somewhere, in the lost sectors. But seeing just infinite customization and exploration has just it won me over 100%, and they basically cleared up any doubts I may have had about Starfield beforehand.
So is it pre-ordered yet?
Yes. Well, no.
Oh, okay.
The reason why it's not pre-order is because I get it automatically because of Game Pass.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. It was a day one Game Pass thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I did buy the digital deluxe edition because of Game Pass because it's only like a $30 edition. So I bought that. But I'm still looking forward to it. It seems like it won a lot of people over, except for like the criticisms of like 4K or sorry 30 FPS, which in my opinion they've given so many games the pass for 30 FPS. I'm like, why can't you give it to this one? Is it because it's Xbox? Is that why you can't give it 30 FPS pass? It's like, come on now, don't be that petty.
Well, you know my stance on that stuff. I don't
Didn't
care about that shit.
didn't you just criticize it for being 30 FPS?
No, I didn't criticize. I said I was reading other people. That
Oh,
would I don't remember Zelda, right? Come on now. I don't criticize that
okay.
shit.
You're just saying for the multiplayer. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it
But
was just funny seeing that
but
because not to name any names because I don't want to start any drama with them. But there's someone that we've recently started working with that criticized
uh,
it for like 30 FPS. I'm like, didn't you just say you love Zelda being Game of the Year? I'm like, that's 30 FPS. Come on now.
mhm, mhm.
But yeah, just seeing that criticism, I'm just like, oh come on, people, you can't say you love Zelda and hate this. Like, come on.
Like I said, it's all about um, the gameplay and really even to take it a step further, just really your personal enjoyment out of it. Like everyone's gonna have their own formulated opinion on it, but how did you ultimately enjoy it? If it was shit, it was shit. But if you liked it, you liked it. End of story, right? That's all that matters. Did you get your money's worth?
Yeah, I just think it's funny that
I mean,
go ahead.
oh no, just to put a little quick bond on it. Even as shit as Pokemon was, like for that limited time, I still enjoyed it.
Hmm.
But anyways, that's my bow.
I, I I don't know. Maybe it's a weird thing, but like it's starting to grind my gears now that people are criticizing
Mhm.
only Xbox games for having 30 FPS. I'm like, come on now. I just can't take your criticism seriously anymore.
So, like I said, I mean, because we've had these gauntlets already on previous podcasts, and like I maybe it's my age or something, I don't know, but like I just don't really get the full difference. Like I know you mentioned like for first person shooters that's more um how can I put it? It
You mean the
means more.
frames? Yes, and it means a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I don't experience a lot of first person shooters, so maybe that's why. But from everything I played, and I think you kind of hammered home on it with also when we talk about Zelda. What it really boils down to is optimization, right? It's like throw away the FPS, throw away the pixels, throw away all that shit. How is it playing, right? I think that's what really always just matters. I mean, like you look at these huge success stories with like Minecraft. It's like, come on, the game like that graphically, although you say it's optimized, but like you want to talk about just the way it looks, like come on,
Minecraft
stop it.
runs, well, if you're running on console, it's 60 FPS and above. If you're on
Well,
PC, it runs at 240 plus. Zelda
well,
can't do that.
no, well, maybe on a PC, but I mean, like I don't know, like
No, I get you. Obviously, I'm
It's just I think just like as a whole, the generation of gamers is just and not it doesn't span through a particular age group. I mean, it goes through all age groups, but it's just the generation as a whole. Like I don't want to say spoiled. It's not really spoiled, but and it's not even expectations, but it's just like stop yourselves. Like not everything. Like we've had some great natural progression, but not everything has to be like that. So that's my 2 cents.
this is
So
where I'm gonna
I hope
disagree.
Starfield is successful. It like I said, the little bit that I saw, it looks great. Um, I'm just a little, even though I'm never gonna play, but a little bummed out that there's no multiplayer because I think that would be pretty badass. But yeah, a little bit I saw it. It's they're doing something new with that whole planet thing. Exploration.
I don't think they're
Like
doing something
that's
new.
gonna
I
be
think they're just
huge.
taking the ideas they've already had from like Elder Scrolls and Fallout and just kind of mashing it all together in one place.
But I thought they had. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought they had some sort of like new um I don't want to say mechanic, but like some new framework engine or technology, I guess would be the better word to use. That, like, I know you mentioned there was like 90 planets or something, but I thought they had something where like it gets like randomized or something. Like,
No,
no?
the planets are actually already pre-built in the game. That's the impressive
Hmm.
part. It's not like
Is there another
randomly
game I'm
generated.
thinking of that has that?
Well, you're probably thinking about No Man's Sky, but the generated part of Starfield is the weapons. They have an abundance of weapons that have different, like, either mod sockets, barrels, whatever. Those can be randomly generated that you get on the ground. And then also causing more combinations to be played with each other. That's maybe what you think about when it comes to random generation.
No, no. I thought it had to do with the planets. So I must have misread or whatever. But that's fine.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting. I mean, I've seen No Man's Sky. I don't think I want that because, like, if you hear the details that Bethesda's put into these planets and then, like, the cities in these planets or the outposts in these planets, there's a reason why it's not generated, just because of how much effort they put into them. But besides Starfield, obviously Starfield was the biggest thing for me. Was there any game that semi-interested you in the showcase? I know one that interested my brother was Payday 3, which we haven't had a Payday game in almost like 12 years or 10 years, something like that.
I mean, not similar to last week because I didn't even watch the PlayStation one, or not the PlayStation. I'm sorry, just the Games Fest one. Um, but I definitely didn't know anything about this. I mean, I did see on social media about Fable, but I never played a previous Fable either. But I do know and understand that's really big news. And the only reason why I saw some Starfield footage was because not because I watched an actual trailer online, but because I was actually watching Annie Fuchsia and she was watching it. So that's how I was watching it for that brief time. But then I got bored with it. I was like, oh, this is what you're going to do? Yeah. Because I was watching her play Diablo for a bit because I was trying to get my drop rewards. And she took a break and started watching that stuff because she was giddy about it. So I started watching it. I'm like, oh, if this is what you're going to do, click.
It's funny. It's obviously it's not your system. You don't care for it.
Yep.
Um, but if I was to rank the showcasing, I would say this is a solid B plus A tier. Like they had some huge games. One, Payday 3 is pretty massive. It's a fun co-op shooter game. That honestly a lot of people didn't have on their bingo cards. It seems like
Radar.
that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that was kind of hidden ball. So that's cool to see. Payday 2 was massively successful for a very long time and lasted for much longer than it should have, in my opinion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
33 Immortals, though, that one was another game that caught my attention. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's kind of like a roguelike game, but the weird effect of this is that you're loading into a world with 22 other players. Or sorry, 32 other players. So it's you and
Mm-hmm.
32 players going across the world in like some kind of Zelda-like Diablo game, and you're just hacking and slashing your way through, which I think is kind of interesting, seeing
Mm.
all these characters all at once of being real players. So
Mm.
I'd love to see how that is. Obviously, they probably have like a bot component because let's say if the game doesn't get successful, they probably have to fill
Of
that space
course.
in somehow because that's pretty much like a core mechanic
Yeah.
of the game.
Mm.
Um, One that shocked me was I was not expecting to see a Ubisoft announcement at the Xbox show Game Show Fest. They showed Star Wars Outlaws, which I was, hearing it, I thought it was Star Wars 1313 just off the trailer, and then they obviously showed the name as like Star Wars Outlaws. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I seen Ubisoft. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting because I forgot that the contract with LucasArts and EA just ended. So now anyone can make a Star Wars game as long as they get approved. And then seeing it at the Ubisoft Forward launch, this is another game that I'm really looking forward to because of how expansive and cool and just graphically awesome it looks. Uh, what's another one? South of Midnight. You know me, I love kind of like monsterish games like Lovecraft stuff, and that one kind of has me. It's on my radar. Can't wait to play it. It seems like it's set in like the south of Louisiana or the Bayou, whatever, and
Louisiana.
it just seems like it has a lot of supernatural stuff to it. But I know that this isn't your thing. Was there any games besides Starfield that may have interested you if you were to play if it came to PC that you wanted?
Uh, yeah, unfortunately, I don't like the way you phrase that question. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any footage of anything. I just haven't. Like I said, much like last week, other than still even to this day, 7 is still all I know or saw. Like I've been I've been in this like somewhat funk where I've been like um tunnel vision the games that I'm currently playing slash expecting to play that I haven't really have walls. I haven't really been looking at anything else. Um, so yeah, I just can't formulate. I can't give you anything on that. But the way you phrase that question, I really liked it because it's like, well, what if this was on the other system? Would you? Well, maybe. But I haven't seen any gameplay for any of this stuff, unfortunately. So it's hard for me to even just answer that. But once again, going back to Starfield, the way you phrase that question, if that was like a PS5 title, maybe, especially if PS5 had that controller.
What happens if you played it? Well, this is
I
the
won't
thing.
play it on PC. I won't play it on PC.
Well, listen to what I'm saying first. The Xbox controllers work with PC, so you can buy the Xbox controller and play it on PC.
My computer, I would need to get a new computer because even Diablo 4 was fucking up my computer. That's why I wasn't streaming it because I was so afraid of getting lagged from running too many things.
Well, Starfield is a PC seller.
No, I that's why I said if it was on PS5, like it may have piqued my interest, um, but Fable, I'll need to check out that trailer just because like I know Fable is extremely popular, even though I never played the other ones, but it's up there with it rivals like Final Fantasy, like and those IPs, like it's extremely popular. So I'll need to check out that trailer.
Unfortunately, when you check out the trailer, all you're gonna get is amazed CG
Graphics.
elements of in-game stuff. Other than
Mm-hmm.
that, it doesn't show you any gameplay. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
the story might be centered around a little bit of Jack and the Beanstalk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but other than that, you don't see any gameplay. It's just a cinematic trailer. But that's all built-in game, built-in engine. So that's the only thing that might be a deterrent is that you're really not seeing anything except for maybe a potential story um, point.
So my question to you is like per last couple launches that had high expectations, they weren't met, um, allegedly. So with that said, how do you think these will be received? Like you said, they've, I guess, through trailers have met slash exceeded your expectations, but realistically, until it actually gets in the hands of your, you know, for you to play, what do you think is going to happen?
So, just based off of what I've seen, Starfield's going to be a hit just because of how much they showed and it just working perfectly. Even with, obviously they captured, they might do some touch ups, but it's still in game. That already by itself is going to do amazing. Fable, because of how long they've been working on this game, I think the last time Fable was released was 2011, and supposedly been working on this game since then.
Ooh.
Actually, hold on. Let me look that up. I could be wrong on that. Let me see. When was Fable 3 released? Fable 3 release date 2010. So they've had 14 years to develop this game, and so far every game they've made has always been successful. It gives you that fantasy RPG feel that most people want. The fact that this has been the longest production, or sorry, the longest development cycle that they've had for a Fable game. Obviously, this is me assuming, but going off the previous track record, this is probably going to be a successful game as well, just because it's 14 years of development.
Hope so.
One that may have me concerned is Avowed. I feel like that one's being really hyped up, but I think people are going to compare it too much to Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and I think that might be the thing that hurts it. But we'll see. That one is still up in the air for me. One that seems like it might be really well received. It might be a new, you know, prominent name here because we lack, the Bioshock game is
Mhm.
Clockwork Revolution. I feel like people are looking for more steampunk games like that, and I feel like this can probably fill that gap that we haven't had in a while. Um, Obviously, Sega, they've done all this stuff. Persona has a really good track record. So Persona 3 Reloaded is probably gonna be really good. Metaphor, because from the same makers of Persona, and seeing how much work they put into that one's probably gonna be well received. Um, Payday 3, I think that one is going to blow a lot of people away. I think people are giving it very minor expectations, but seeing the actual sandbox of it, from random enemies coming in, from variants like juggernauts, SWAT, throwing different tactics at you, I think that one is going to be a really big hit when it comes out.
Cool. So with this new wave, I think there's a rebound on the horizon.
For Xbox or just these
Yeah,
games?
yeah, for Xbox.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, Starfield alone just sold the show. Like people were like, okay, after Redfall, a first party IP needs to be good. That Starfield Direct literally saved themselves from huge failure.
So like with the Game Pass, like a game like Starfield, for example, like do you like favorite it or something to have it like instantly download on release date? Like how does that work?
So, if it's a first party IP, Xbox does put it up there as like a preview. They're like, okay, this game is gonna be a highlight, comes on this date. You can favorite it, and then I think like a week before it comes out, you can actually pre-download it.
Pre-download it? Okay.
So when it actually does release, the game will already be installed on your device.
Gotcha.
And they're also because it's a first party game for Xbox, they're very good at promoting their games on their dashboard. Like, hey, look at this! That game's coming out. This game's coming out. Play it, play it. It's on Game Pass now. Do it, download whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of people probably have it favorited already, or
Okay.
have it wait in the download dashboard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's why I asked because I was like, since it is well, is that one going to get a physical release?
Yes, start. Wait, talking about
Okay.
Starfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know I thought this was going to be a topic today, but I know you had mentioned about once again talking about possibly the end of physical era or whatever, and some games going strictly digital. So with that said, I was also kind of thinking, I was like, well, then how do they know how popular a game's going to be if it's going directly digital, right? Like, do they have it by favorited, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked that question.
That one I don't know. I think it's just really at this point developer preference.
Mm-hmm.
So the games you're talking about is Alan Wake 2. It's been announced that that will not get a physical at all. It's just purely digital. And then one of the Like a Dragon games, I don't know if it's Gaiden or Infinite Wealth, but one of those is just digital only. And it seems like that's becoming an ongoing trend coming up with some of these games. Luckily, it seems like it's more the PlayStation side that's still doing more focus to digital. Xbox and Nintendo seem to still be supporting physical games.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how Alan Wake and this other Like a Dragon game does, you might see a continuous trend of just being digital only, which I think would suck because they're still holding on to that physical price tag, which I think is a really big scam.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like you're cutting out physical production, you're cutting out the middleman of the sellers. It's like you have to lower it down. That's easily $10 a consumer can save because you don't have to print these physical things anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
come on now.
However, if I may play devil's advocate, it it may be a little smart too, because you mentioned cutting out the middleman, but it may be doing that because they're afraid of where the middleman may end up. Because, like, I mean, look at places like GameStop, but they're like the last, video game entity, right? At least that's not aftermarket. And if they go under, then you're only relying on, the Targets, Walmarts, Best Buys of the world. And, if you ever step in one of those, like, those departments are very tiny comparison to how they were like 15 years ago. So in some way, they might be proactive, trying to kind of compensate for where they cannot market it as heavy in the physical market. So I don't know, just throwing that out there.
You're not wrong. As a company, it makes more sense to push digital because once again, you are doing less, making more. Also, you don't have to worry about the backlash of like you have leftover units and you waste some money, all that stuff. So, as a business decision, it makes the most sense. Unfortunately, for consumers, it's horrible because
Oh yeah,
one, you're eliminating the process of, let's say you play a game, you like it, you're done, you sell it, you get your half your money back, you can recycle that to another game. So
mm-hmm,
the aftermarket it will basically die, at least for new games, and
mm-hmm,
also because of if new games only go digital, it will kill so many stores.
yeah,
And like
no,
I know people look at GameStop, they realistically can't sustain themselves even off of the little merchandise knickknack things they have. Best
mm-hmm,
Buy, if you go into them, even their physical media for movies and all that stuff is pretty much dead, and they're almost looking like a shell of their former self. Like they basically block off the majority of the store.
yeah,
So they'll probably go under too. I mean, I'm not saying that they make up a huge revenue, but they're gonna
yeah.
take a hit hard.
Plus they're increasing their damn subscription, which is ridiculous. Like, come on, guys. Not you are really just like imploding, or trying to get every last dollar you can before you go fully under. But yeah, it sucks because, I mean, once again, we talk about childhood, and then like kind of also reminiscence that tweet that I saw you were on about the midnight launches, like, all those little things. I mean, midnight launch will still technically exist in a digital world, but it's not the same.
Yeah, like going into like an actual store and talking to other nerds at the same time. Like
Exactly.
you and I both participated in the midnight release for Zelda. There's a long line there. There's even kids experiencing their first midnight release with their parents, going in getting collectibles. I feel like realistically that's going to be around for at least another generation and a half because it seems like developers still care. And once again, even though I criticize Nintendo, I still feel like if there was going to be like a last bastion of physical media, Nintendo will probably be that last bastion. um,
Yeah, it may be. It may be.
but yeah, it I feel like we're seeing the first signs, but I still feel like physical is going to be coming out at least for maybe another 10-ish years, and then it goes fully digital.
Yeah. Well, until then, I'm gonna keep getting my physical,
Yeah,
just like you.
I think that's why I'm like trying to take advantage of it as much as I can because obviously there's still gonna be the retro stuff that you can still flip and trade and whatever that's still gonna have
Of course.
value. But like right now, the reason why I'm able to buy so many games so often is because I buy it, play it, and then I sell it immediately afterwards. And that's how
Yeah.
I'm able to keep getting more so quickly, just because my funds are constantly replenishing themselves.
And actually, that's a valid point that might actually hurt them in the very, very long run, because some people may not be able to afford those new games, especially when they're going to $70. So
Hmm
that is something they probably really also want to consider heavily. But we'll see.
Well, it's funny that you say that because there's a stat recently. I believe it was only on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
but Steam did like a poll because they're really known for being analytical about this stuff. Um, yes, they have charts for pre-orders, but the like I think it was like 76 or something like that of their sales are mostly due to the games being on sale, not off of actual physical first day releases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a large percent.
Yeah.
Extremely large percent.
And
Yeah.
that's why Gabe Knoll is constantly always pushing out those super sales and forcing developers to do super sales because they know most of these gamers are not going to spend $60 on launch just to buy a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see if things go digital. the only time you're gonna see it, unless if it's a game you're really really looking forward to. I feel like most people are gonna buy their games on a digital sale.
Yeah.
But
True.
we'll see.
We'll see.
But is there anything else you want to add? I
No,
know.
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry I didn't have much to contribute, mainly because I don't own an Xbox, but
Well, it's funny when PlayStation makes a showcase. Usually, like their stuff is only PlayStation. The one
mhm.
good thing about the Xbox showcase is it doesn't just benefit Xbox consumers; it affects the PC marketplace because they go day and date hand in hand. So it's like it. Luckily, it doesn't negate you because you can still play the game on PC if you so choose to.
You're not wrong. I just, me, it's mostly WoW on my PC, and that's it. Well, I guess I did have Diablo 4, but other than that, and like I said, I could, not that my computer was like huffing and puffing, but I could see the difference of it running and struggling a little bit than World of Warcraft. Like, and I'm like, damn, my PC's not that old. Like, what the?
Well, let me ask: did you actually turn down some settings to make it more manageable, or did you
I
leave it all
didn't
at
actually.
max?
No, no, I left it at no, not max, just whatever the defaults were. So to your point, I didn't. I didn't do that.
You should probably check. I swear, I'm almost positive that your PC probably tried to run Ultra, and that's what you're stuttering. Because my
Maybe.
my computer does that too. Even though I'm running a 1080 graphics card, which is extremely outdated now, when I installed Call of Duty, it was trying to perform itself on ultra settings. I'm like, what are you doing, graphics card? You're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Don't do that.
Well, I do know for a while I don't have it on max, and that's because, obviously cognizant of streaming most of the time. But to your point, I didn't even give that a thought when I was playing. So that could have very well had a hand in it. But either way, I don't have to worry about that now because I'm retired. So
All right, moving on to the third showcase. Unfortunately, it's probably gonna be the same response as the Xbox one,
uh,
but it's still worth a
yeah.
mention. Um, Ubisoft shockingly surprised me with their showcase. So Ubisoft just recently had the Ubisoft Forward. I think like 2 or 3 days ago. It was fairly recent. Um, some of their games I wasn't expecting. They announced Just Dance 2024. Apparently, that's a franchise that's still going. I think I
Hmm.
played one game, but Just Dance is just not a game for me, unfortunately. But apparently, it's still very,
Yeah.
very popular.
Well,
Um,
Amaranth probably uses it. So
they also showed more information for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and my goodness, even though it kind of looks like a clone of Far Cry, just with the Avatar skin on top of it, it looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to the Banshee in air combat. Um, I'm glad that Ubisoft is actually putting some effort into this because I had the original Avatar game that came out in 2009 for PS3, and that was a garbage game. Whoever made that, I think it was EA. I could be wrong on the developer, but I think it was EA.
EA Sports.
They butchered that game. This one looks like it's going to be really good because it's an open world game. You have obviously air traversal, land traversal, a whole bunch of things you could do. I think you can also customize your Navi character too. I'm not sure if you could do it to like the tribes or just customize the look. They also showed a multiplayer game called Defiant. Um, I've heard of Defiant. It's pretty much like the Call of Duty equivalent because they realized Call of Duty is going more towards BR. So, like, hey, let's make an arcade shooter like Call of Duty used to be. They released a closed beta. Apparently, that closed beta had over 1.5 million players, which is a lot just for a closed beta,
Yeah.
which I think only lasted for 1 or 2 weeks. Coming up soon, they're having their open beta to stress test the server, see what else they can change. So that's looking pretty good, which I might actually start playing because right now I'm currently deleted Call of Duty.
Boycotting.
Yeah, boycotting Call of Duty for particular reasons. So X Defiant might be my arcade shooter for the time being. Prince of Persia, this one
Mm,
I was really happy about because I heard a lot of rumors that they cancel a lot of Prince of Persia projects like the remake or remastering of a previous game and a new
hmm
game. But seeing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown made me really excited because it looks like they're going back to their roots of like a 2D platforming side scroller which I'm
Mm.
really looking forward to because I love platformer games. But oddly enough, seeing this trailer, I've seen a lot of people, and this is more towards the actual look of the character. But people are criticizing Prince of Persia for looking too, how do I say it, African American or black, pretty much. And I'm like,
Really?
and it's mostly due to the dreads and all that stuff. But I'm like,
Hmm.
that's how the original Prince of Persia character looked like. So whoever's criticizing this didn't play the original games
That's
because
another history.
yeah, because they're pretty much replicating the same character style as the original. It's just now you get HD graphics.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
like people are criticizing the look of the guy. I'm like, you clearly aren't a fan of the series because that's kind of how he looked beforehand before he went to the PS3 era.
Hmm.
Um, but that was one of the things I'm looking forward to that one. That one is actually probably gonna be a day one pickup just because of how good it looks. Um,
Hmm.
the only thing I'm disappointed about is that they're still dealing with time. I think they need to move on to that because the last three games have delved with time travel.
Hmm.
Um, Another game that they announced, Skull and Bones. This one, if we're going to talk about like this generation's biggest flop, it's most likely
Hmm.
going to be Skull and Bones. They've spent, I think, over 8 years of development on this. They didn't
Hmm.
know when they were going to release it. You know, they're hyping it up for being like a big pirate open world game with
Hmm.
PvP rating, etc. But Sea of Thieves already cemented itself in that space, and I don't think they can ever take players away from Sea of Thieves. And I feel like because they're so late to the game, all the money and effort they spent into developing this is probably going to be a huge flop. But I could be
Uh,
wrong. I could be
yeah.
wrong, but I feel like it's going to be a fail. Um, they announced something called Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. Supposedly, this is a show that's going to be on Netflix. That's going to be a parody of multiple of Ubisoft's games. So like you're gonna see some Far Cry characters in there. You're gonna see some Assassin's Creed characters in there with like a Venture Bros kind of humor to it.
Hmm.
Um, they also announced something that I was very disappointed about. They announced the Division Resurgence, which I was like, oh, we're getting a Division game, and then I realized that this Division game is only going to be for mobile, because
Uh,
they're working on another project for Division, which is basically an MMO shooter as well, like kind of like
hmm.
Destiny, but more grounded in
Hmm.
our Earth, called Heartlands, and I was hoping that we'd see more of that. But we got a mobile game instead. So a lot of people were like, oh, with the reaction.
But they'll
Um,
probably still make a lot of money off that mobile game.
I don't
No,
think so.
you don't think so?
The Division 2 is retaining very little players, and even with the little players it has, I don't think they're ever going to go to mobile.
Mm.
I think it's going to be another one of those flops.
Mm.
Just like the next game, the Crew Motorfest. I applaud them for having a idea that they really want to make happen. It's just unfortunately the Crew 2, they get popular for like maybe the first week, but then they dip significantly. And they're making another Crew game called Motorfest. Cool concept. Unfortunately, you just have Gran Turismo and Horizon to compete with, and they just already dominate that market. So unfortunately, they can't do it. And the Need for Speed comes out, they already take out that player base too. So the Crew is most likely going to be another flop. Assassin's Creed Nexus, which I think is a multiplayer Assassin's Creed game, people are looking forward to that. Another Assassin's Creed game, which I'm kind of looking forward to, is Assassin's Creed Jade, which it might be the actual Assassin's Creed game based in Japan that will
Mm.
give us modern gameplay that I'm looking forward to instead of Revelation, or not Revelations, but side scroller ones that we got beforehand. We see more about Assassin's Creed Mirage, and they showed more gameplay for Outlaws, which I'm already looking forward to. Um, but so far, the big three is definitely Avatar, Prince of Persia, and Star Wars Outlaws that they announced, and I think those are going to be some big hitters for them.
And those are all what platforms?
Multiplat,
Multi-plat.
yeah, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and all of these, if I remember correctly, I think the majority of these games that I've seen from Ubisoft are just for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like it seems like they've completely dropped the previous gen.
Mm. Interesting. I mean, that was, dare I say, that was inevitable, but you know,
Oh, it's definitely
at
inevitable.
some,
I'm just surprised it took 4 years pretty much to
I
happen.
know, yeah. Well, I think part of, well, not really, because I don't know if that was
Quantity,
really expectations. Yeah, yeah. But I don't
limitations
think
on
that really was,
purchasing.
yeah, I don't know if that was really expectations. Like, COVID had a lot of influence of that as well. So,
Yeah, they just had to make do.
but yeah, but I hate to steal the spotlight from Ubisoft because I know that's the heart of the topic. But weren't there other companies that had showcases? Like, didn't Capcom have one, or it hasn't
Capcom
happened yet?
Capcom did have one, and it was immediately after the Ubisoft Forward one.
Okay.
But the reason why nobody cared is because most of the games they showcased are already out.
Oh, that's pretty lame.
Yeah, like they showed more for Street Fighter. They talked about more of the Fighter Pass. They talked about God, what's that game? Ah, what's that game? I would have to look it up, but yeah, pretty much there's like two games coming out in the near future. I think one of them was a multiplayer game that's gonna have a lot of Capcom cameos in it, but the rest of them are already out.
Gotcha. Okay.
I wish I could. Let
Cool.
me look
Cool.
this up. What did Capcom's showcase have? What did Capcom's
Well, I
showcase?
mean, there's no Monster Hunter, I guess. So it's like
Oh yeah, they showed X of Primal, which is a game coming out soon. It's also advertised on Xbox Game Pass. Let's see, what did they have? I think I'd see it. Oh, Dragon's Dogma. They showed more of that. It's kind of
mm,
funny. I think Capcom's showcase would have been a lot bigger if they didn't reveal it already on the PlayStation or Xbox showcase.
mm,
Like
yeah.
Dragon's Dogma, if it wasn't on the Summer Game Fest or PlayStation, that would have been a
Hmm.
massive announcement to have. Or
Hmm.
Extra Primal, if it wasn't from the Xbox showcase, that would have been huge.
Yeah. They sold their souls. Like, you get one game to show and you get one game to show. We don't care about ours.
Oh, one of the other games that they announced apparently a lot. This is like one of the weird franchises that is very small but gets a lot of love. Is Ace Attorney.
I don't even know if I've heard of that one.
You never heard of Ace Attorney?
I don't think so.
It's pretty
Maybe I
much
need to see it.
this guy that's. I mean, it's an anime kind of game. He goes
Oh,
around. He's defending usually a lot of idiots that somehow get um how do you say it, get framed for things they didn't do, but they're clearly in every single instance, and you're like, and then one coincidence, okay, I get that, but 20 coincidences, it's like you're doing this to yourself. Like basically finding who the murderer killer is, whatever. It's a cool game. I played one or two of them, but there's a group out there that really loves the series.
mm, that's funny. But back to Ubisoft. So it sounded like a lot of Assassin's Creed love, and unfortunately, like I said, it was a franchise I never got into. I just tore my heart at the very beginning, and Prince of Persia I never played, and then well, I'll probably check out that Star Wars one. Um, that one sounds interesting, and
It looks really interesting.
it looks really interesting. So wait, it's gonna be what, an action RPG?
It more of like a shooter RPG.
A shooter RPG. Oh, okay. So like you're mentioning a little bit like Destiny. That
Hmm.
um, what was the other big one you mentioned?
You got
Da-da-da-da.
Avatar,
Oh,
Frontiers of
Avatar.
Pandora.
Well, yeah, I still haven't even seen the movies yet, so I know that's your cup of tea. So yeah, I'll have to catch up on all shit. Even last week, man. Like I just need to probably sit down and do Games Fest recap of everything, even for the Xbox ones, just to kind of formulate an opinion on. I just haven't been
You're
fucking
gonna watch
looking.
them to formulate an opinion just to keep it to yourself.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, because I could bring it up in a future progress. Hey, by the way, I saw this. I know I'm late to the party, but this one gave me a boner.
I know.
Something like
I'm just messing with you.
that.
If I was to give you a quick like rundown of, well, obviously this is my opinion of what games you should look
Yep.
for. But for Ubisoft, if you're to watch anything, it'd be, if you like the first one, Assassin's Creed Mirage, because it's kind of like having the modern graphics and feel, but still with the legacy combat and exploration, if that makes sense. So it's basically like a hybrid of both, where the exploration is like the classic games, but the mechanics are of the modern games. If you like Ghost of Tsushima or any games like Ghost of Tsushima, check out Assassin's Creed Jade because that seems like what's going to be like. Um, Prince of Persia, as much as I love it, I'm not going to say go watch it. It's just pretty much a platformer game, just like any other platformer game. But the two is definitely Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and Star Wars Outlaws. So those are the two biggest games that Ubisoft probably announced. That's going to be most likely a hit for people, except for Assassin's Creed.
Now going back to the Xbox showcase and this one, I'm pretty sure it's not everything, but what is coming out this year out of the big ones that you had mentioned, if
Ooh,
any?
um, Starfield is coming out. Well, September and October are going to be a massive year for. Massive month for games. Starfield's coming out in September. Hellblade, I think, is coming out this fall. Fable's next year. Avowed is this year. Cyberpunk is this year in a couple weeks, actually, maybe a month. Payday 3, I think, is this year. 33 Immortals is this year. Elder Scrolls and Fallout 76 DLC is this year. Persona 3 Reloaded is this year. I think Final or Persona 5 Tactica is next year. Like a Dragon is this year. I think Star Wars is this year as well.
Hmm.
Actually, I think both Star Wars and Avatar is this year. I think Avatar
Damn,
is December.
Star Wars just as an IP is having a big year because I had that other EA game that was. I don't know how it's doing now, but
Oh,
I know it
it's
was.
still pretty popular.
Yeah,
Survivor, that's what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
a lot of them are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So out of
Yep.
all of them, which one do you think will be the most successful game?
If we're combining both the showcase for
Yeah,
Xbox and Ubisoft,
yeah.
Starfield
Starfield still hands down.
easily.
Okay.
Um,
Slam dunk the funk.
if I was to give it a second, though, oof. The only reason why I say Starfield is just because of how much effort and how big
Hype.
this game is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was to say a second, it's a toss up between Star Wars Outlaw and maybe Avowed. If Avowed succeeds. And as much as I would love to put what's the game called? Avatar in there, and as much
Mm-hmm.
as a lot of people love the movies, I don't think Avatar is going to be nearly as big as those two games.
Just because the translation to um,
Gamer.
customers into the gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay.
I'm kind of leaning towards Star Wars Outlaw being the second biggest one of the year, just because it's a Ubisoft game and it looks. When you watch the trailer, you'll see how nice it looks. Because
Okay.
supposedly the Star Wars game is kind of like a Starfield, pretty much. You're going
Mm.
to multiple planets, most
Oh,
likely. At least they
interesting.
showed two, and you're
Yeah.
also going to have some space combat.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Which, when you get the IP of Star Wars, people like that shit.
Yeah. So I think
Interesting.
Star Wars Outlaws is definitely going to be the second biggest hit for for these two companies combined.
Cool. Cool.
But
Yeah, I'll have to catch up. I feel
I
bad for not being able to contribute as much, but
oh, you're fine. I know we said this multiple times already, but gamers are eating good no matter what system you're on, Nintendo,
nom
PlayStation,
nom nom nom
Xbox.
nom nom nom.
Dude, this is a stacked year for games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of um, you know overdue with with COVID and everything. I think everything just got no, not everything, but there were plenty of setbacks, and now it seems like everything is just being just freaking launched and released,
I'm
and we're all the beneficiaries of it.
trying to see. I actually had like a list of things that are coming out in September. There's so many games. Lives of P, Starfield, Mortal Kombat 1. Uh, what was the other one? God dang. I had it right here. I had it right here. Alan Wake, I believe, is one of them, and I lost my list. But there's a lot of
Not
games.
wrong.
There's a lot of games coming out in September, man. Oh, why can't I find it? People are gonna go broke, man. They need to stop releasing all these games in one time.
Well, the only other one I reserved was the MK one. You're gonna go broke, but you now have a DS to flip, so that'll help you out.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I think my spending for the most part is gonna start to subside. I mean, I got 16, which is very paid for, but like I said, I wasn't expecting to do MK, but I succumbed. Um, And other than that, like I think I'm pretty spent unless something else pulls a Mortal Kombat on me. But yeah, right now I think I'm good. I was eating good, but I'm starting to get full.
but so Mortal Kombat's the only game you have coming up. That's it.
After 16,
Oh yeah, after 16.
yeah. Well, I got Stray here, but that's a 5 hour game, right? Um, yeah. I mean, it started off well. Like, I mean, just a quick recap. I mean, it started with Octopath 2. Um, uh, Zelda, obviously. Diablo was uh, not on my radar, but it just knocked on the door and let themselves in. um, and then WoW's kind of been there, it sounds stupid, but I feel bad for WoW. This is the least I've played it in probably its entire tenure being a game. So I feel like I've been cheating on it.
That's okay. WoW needs to be cheated on.
Yeah, that's true. It deserves to be cheated on. But but yeah, no. So then, I still want to do Stray. I still have my other game, Trinity Trigger, that I haven't finished. Crisis Core. How can I forget about Crisis Core? Actually, that's probably the start of all this. Really, that was before Octopath. Or right about the same time as Octopath. I can't remember now. And then yeah, so 16's on the horizon. More Kombat's on the horizon. I still might give Street Fighter a chance at some point. I'm kind of in this. Well, you bought it already, right? No,
I
no.
bought
Okay,
Diablo
I think.
instead.
Huh?
I bought Diablo instead.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So, but I think we're on the same wavelengths. We'll probably pick it up when they do like a bundle release type thing for cheaper, maybe, right?
Well, I can tell you this: if I can snag a collector's edition, which I think they're coming up again, I'm gonna get that as soon as possible. But if not, then
Oh,
it'll be
okay.
for a bundle.
Okay. Yeah, I think at some point I may pick it up. Um, I don't know about Tekken though. I need to see more Tekken.
I'm gonna tell you
Like
this: if you've seen Tekken 7, if you've seen Tekken 6, that's what you're gonna get in Tekken 8, except more better graphics. This is literally the same exact game, but that's what people love about it.
yeah. I mean, but to that point, I mean that's kind of sounds ignorant to say, but that's kind of felt with Tekken since Tekken 1. So, but for whatever reason, Tekken 3 was the one that I like fell in love with, and I played it stupidly. But anyhow, yeah, that's probably the one I don't know. Let's see what else is coming out that may tickle my fancy that I could think of. Um, the Ninja Turtles game Shredder's Revenge has a DLC coming out.
Speaking of which, you don't have Shredder's Revenge, do you?
No.
If you have PlayStation Plus, like let's say if you don't even want to spend the money on the game, if you have
Uh-huh.
PlayStation Plus, Shredder's Revenge is actually included right now with PlayStation Plus, and
Yeah, but
it
isn't that an annual subscription?
you can do monthly.
Uh, I think I'd rather buy the game.
You can do that too. I'm gonna have it on the 15th.
You're gonna
Today's the
have it on.
15th.
I was like, you're gonna have it on the Daisy. I said it while you said. I'm like,
We both looked at the calendar like today's the 15th.
so what you're advocating is to play it, right?
Because if you get it, then I'll have someone to play with. And people are saying it's a really good game.
I mean, I'm sure it is, and it's something that we could probably flip very quickly. Yeah, let me dig on that. Here I said I'm done spending money, but maybe I'll pick that one up.
Okay. If you
But
do,
but
let me
now
know.
but now it makes me wonder if I should wait. Do you think they always do a re-release with the DLC? So I'm wondering if I should wait.
If they are gonna do a bundle, they probably would announce it already.
You think so?
Most likely, yeah. That's usually how it goes. Like DLC, hey, look at this combo pack if you haven't picked it up.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, let me do a little research. I mean, no rush. We got plenty to keep ourselves busy, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't mind. That one is like such a nostalgic gameplay. Like it's like the old arcade versions.
You're gonna have to let me know what you find out because as much as Shredder's Revenge is, really well received by the players that played it,
Hmm.
there's not a lot of people that actually played it except for the hardcore fans. So because of the lower sell rate, is the DLC free? And if
Ooh, good question.
and also just because of the low sell rate, I highly doubt they're gonna make another bundle, like like a
Yeah,
re-release, like Game of Year or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Hmm. Well, like I said, let me do research. But yeah, that'd be a fun one to probably quickly flip.
Yeah. If you're
And
even if you don't get, it, I'm still gonna play it.
well, yeah, because you're gonna have it on the thing. Well, is that one that will allow you to have someone play with you that doesn't have Plus, like the game share? I don't know how that shit works.
Say that again.
Like, doesn't PlayStation have a thing with the game share? Like, if the other person doesn't own the game, they could still play with them. Like,
Yes, but I would have
would
to put my account on your PlayStation, and then you had to play it that way. But I'm already sharing with
oh
my brother.
well, never mind. Well, I wasn't even if you didn't, I wasn't gonna go that route. I thought I thought you didn't need um to have an how can I put it, a paid account to be the recipient of the game share. I guess is the way I'm trying to word it.
So how the game sure works is that I literally put my account on your system, and you
Um,
make that my account home on your system. So that means
mm,
even when you're on your account, all my purchase history is still saved on your system. And then I could
um,
just log on to my profile from my system and still play it because obviously I'm on the profile that bought it all. But
mm,
that's how GameShare works.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so two people can split it. Unfortunately, I'm already splitting with my brother.
No, that's fine. Understood. Oh, and I
Physical, I
also
could
still
share.
have Resident Evil 8 that I haven't played. And I wanted to do 4 again. I see now I'm thinking about the games I haven't even fucking done yet. Totally forgot about that fad. Because remember how popular 4 was? Like, holy shit, that was like, you know,
Yeah, it was talked about for a week and died off.
exactly. It was like the epitome of conversation for a week, and but that's been this year, right? I mean, look at Zelda, right? I mean, I still come across stuff on my feed every day with Zelda, but it was going to happen. Like it's going to happen with 16 as well. It's going to be like it's talked about right now. When it actually release, it's going to be talked about, and eventually that's going to phase. It's that type of year.
Oh,
Game of the year discussions will ramp up even more throughout the year, and this year it's gonna be nuts. There's gonna be some snubs from nominations.
like I said, as long as Spider-Man 2 isn't on this list because there's too many big hitters, I'll be fine. Don't get me wrong, I like Spider-Man 2. I just don't. I just because of the Sony pool, that's the only reason why I'll be up there, and I hope it doesn't get up there because Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda, and Final Fantasy 16 deserve to be on that. Even off the demo alone, I'm saying that. But for true game of the year, like I said, if Final Fantasy 16 can retain that community retention rate like Hogwarts did, it's game of the year. If not, it's Hogwarts still. But going back to what I was gonna say, because you brought up
Yes.
Resident Evil, and I totally forgot that was also another game that Capcom announced. Is that
Oh,
there's
oh,
a
the VR.
no,
No.
there's
Oh,
another
sorry.
game that's Resident Evil like. It's not Resident Evil. It's a different game, and if you're a horror fan, I think you might like it. I don't know the name of it. You're gonna have to look up. You're gonna have to look at the showcase again. But it seems to have caught a lot of people's attention because it's a new game
Capcom?
from Capcom.
Really?
And it centers around a
Oh.
little girl. Eventually, I thought it was Rose originally, or is that her name? The daughter of Ethan Winters. I originally thought it was a DLC for her,
Oh.
but it's not
Okay.
about her. It's about someone
Hmm.
else, and it's not
Hmm.
Resident Evil, but it looks like Resident Evil.
Hmm. Wow. Interesting. No, I remember. I want to say it was like an Xbox game or something, and I saw this a long time ago. And by long time, I mean probably like a year ago. I think it was the Game Awards. It was a trailer for the Game Awards. There was like a horror film, horror film. It's a horror game trailer that I was just like, all right, that shit looks fucking scary, but I don't remember the name of it.
Was it Silent
And
Hill
what?
PT?
No, it wasn't Silent Hill. That much I do know. No, it was like it was. I don't know if it was a new IP, but it was a name I didn't recognize at least. And I don't know why, but it might have been on Xbox, but it could have been multi-platform. But nonetheless, like I remember watching, I was like, that shit was fucking scary. Like I probably wouldn't like. It looks badass, but I don't think I'd be able to play because I'd be so scared. But I don't remember what it was. But I think it was in the Game Awards they had it.
I'm gonna make 3 guesses.
Mm-hmm.
Outlast.
Mm, maybe. What's the other guesses?
Outlast, Layers of Fear, and Alone in the Dark.
It definitely wasn't Not Alone in the Dark, but it could have been those other two. But yeah, I was like, okay, now that's a horror game. Like Resident Evil used to be a horror game. Now it's like action adventure with zombies.
What did this horror? I'm playing detective here. Did the horror game
Yeah,
basically you had a camera, it was night vision mode, and you're in an asylum?
I do recall an asylum. I don't remember night vision though. And I thought well, asylum could have also like a morgue slash hospital type area. So, but yeah, it was kind of like that.
Okay, so if
Some
it's
of the
not night
footage.
vision, then it might be Evil Dead,
No, it definitely wasn't Evil
or
Dead.
not Evil Dead, Evil Within,
Maybe it could have been that too.
because the first one was about an asylum.
Mm. Either way, that should look scary.
It was good. It was good. If it is Evil Within, it's good.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like I don't think I'd be able to play that. But yeah, is there any other showcases still to come?
Yes. I think the big one's already done with. I know there's going to
Okay.
be something else on the 29th. I can't remember what that's for. I think that's more of like an indie showcase development where they're going to put a lot of, unnamed stuff in there. It's going to be like the highlight. They still have a lot of streams with what they call the Day of the Dev, where there's going to be like a lot of people that either, they're going to show more gameplay for Star Wars, Pandora, whatever game they've already announced. They're going to most likely have like a long stream of them, developers talking about their game and how it works. Like I know Lives of P is a stream that's coming up soon, talking about more Pinocchio and how that game's gonna work. So they got a lot of things, but I think the majority of the big stuff is already done.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I have nothing else to add, unfortunately.
It's funny. I really thought this was gonna be like one of the longest podcasts ever, but then you said you didn't see any of the games. I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna be short.
Yeah, that's just totally my fault.
No, it's all good. It was funny because like just seeing all these massive explosions of games, I'm like, oh my god, this could be so much to talk about.
Well,
But
plus,
luckily, we kept it short.
just as you're boycotting Call of Duty, I'm boycotting Jeff Keighley, so that's why I'm not. No.
It's
Dare
kind
I
of
support his Game Fest?
It's funny. Besides the summer game show, well, summer games for him. Even though he technically runs this, the event for all of them, he was only there for the
Isn't
summer game fest. Everything else was run by the heads of their own company.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So besides game fest, you didn't see Jeff Keighley at all.
Uh, Rip E3.
It's funny. Even though E3 is done, this is technically E3. It's just hosted by the Summer Game Fest. That's it. That's the
Yeah,
only difference. Literally the same thing, different name. That's it.
yeah, thus far, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, is there
But
anything else you want to add, or do you want to wrap this up? Because I've already gone through my list. I can only talk so much about what I vaguely remember because I had a
like,
list,
I
but
could
it's
only carry this podcast for so much.
no. The list I actually created because I had some more details written down, but I think it might have been deleted off my phone.
Oh, anything else? No, I did bring up that brief segment of the digital game part because I remember that came up.
Yeah.
Um, no, no. Think I'm good to wrap it up.
All right. This has been episode 40 of the Out of Mana podcast. Only 12 more episodes to go until it's basically a full year for episodes. But as we say every single time, if there's anything that we talked about this episode, we would love to hear it down below in the comments. If you agree, disagree, or if you have any other opinions besides us. As we always say, if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to like, share, and pass it around because, more people the better. But we will see you maybe next Thursday. If not, it'll be relatively soon.
We're going to talk about that right after this podcast, but we will be back.
But that's why you follow us on social media to keep up to date when we go live.
But ciao.
But you guys have a good one, and once again, peace.
Love y'all. Deuces.